Good morning and welcome to today's live show. Remember, if you're not tuning in live and you're watching this after we've already posted, make sure to tune into the last 15 minutes where you will get a little bit of a breakdown. We're going to do a breakdown first thing in the morning. Even though we put out a YouTube video last night, I think it'd be good to do a little breakdown. That way, we could just have our good mindset for going on throughout the day. As of right now, we're seeing the initial jobless claims come in at 231K. That is above the forecast, above consensus, and above the previous. So that tells me, whoa, maybe we are actually seeing us fight inflation. Okay, so people could see that as a good sign that rate cuts are going to come a little bit sooner than expected. We could see those yields drop off. But remember, we have to pay attention to exactly how these yields are performing, seeing that trickle up in the post market. Now, TLT dropping down to lower levels, not able to curl up, so we'll have to see if the yields are actually going to push TLT, or if TLT is going to push those yields down by buying up, or if this is going to drop off. Remember something that we pointed out last night. We're going to be paying attention to bonds, see if that actually wants to tear down while the market makes some kind of move up. Remember what we're looking for in the overall market right now. It looks like, hey, this doesn't look like a time for reversal. This looks like some kind of pullback. That's what we've been saying. And you shouldn't be feared out of anything because they're going to try to mess with you. They're going to bear trap you, right? No, sorry about that. Then they're going to bull trap you. Then they're going to say, oh, bear trap you again. Then they're going to convince you this is a bull trap. But you know, I'm paying attention. I'm being patient. I'm waiting for this 30 minutes to cross up. And if it seems I'm a little tired today, hey guys, smash that like button for me as you trickle in, man. I did not sleep good at all, so I'm going to be a little bit slower today. Take your time with me. Give me some time to look at these charts before I say anything. I want to be very careful with what I say, as I am very, very sleepy. I have allergy problems right now, but I felt like you guys. I felt like today was a very important day, and I didn't want to leave you guys hanging. So if you could smash that like button for me today, I'd really appreciate it, and just have a little patience with me this morning, as I want to make sure to really look at stuff as we do it. I know I click around really fast, and I can do it really fast, but my brain is not at 100% speed. I am thinking correctly, though, because I'm trying to keep things very simple, all right? I'm trying to think about these things really simply, and the SPY curls up in a positive territory. What could happen here? Now, I was looking at another YouTuber, and they had a weekly expected move, and their weekly expected move was right here. So I don't know how they calculated that in. I don't necessarily know how it ended up being there. Maybe they used the Robinhood method or something like that. I don't know. I don't know if they do the real calculation or they use some kind of system. I do the raw calculation, and the raw calculation says right up here, 519.61 for that weekly expected move. So very interesting to see, but I mean, that resistance came in right at his line, so that's why I was interested with that. Now, what can we pay attention to today? 519.82 to the upside for the SPY, 514.56 to the downside for the SPY. Remember, something like this would look more reversal-like in trend and want to curl over that 2-hour on the SPY, right? So that's what I'm paying attention to going forward. If we get excited and get outside of this, I don't know why we would tear down up here. There is Michigan consumer sentiment. There's 5-year inflation expectations tomorrow. There's all that kind of stuff. But this would be interesting if we actually sold off from this area going into next week. So we'll pay attention to that. Remember, the Q's very, very similar thing here. Wants to curl up into positive territory. That's what it really seems like to me at this moment. Okay, so right now we can read into the dollar, right? We can go into the dollar just for a brief moment and say, well, this was a retest of 105.65. Look at that big 30-minute divergence. That looks cool. Dropping off as of now. So right now you're rejecting from this area. You weren't able to take it back, but beware of the cup and handle. Beware that we could still turn right back up in the next few days. So what we're going to pay attention to with the dollar, I think, is a 2-hour. See if this can curl up over the next few days, right? If this can curl down like this and get some kind of, higher low, I think that would be very, very telling. I think that would be something to really pay attention to, because if we get a higher low in the dollar while the stock market reaches a new high, that isn't the best signal, okay? So we're paying attention to that. But the Qs, back to them. 2-hour hasn't rolled over yet. 2-hour hasn't rolled over yet, and that's a big deal because now we can get rejection and start to head higher, and a bunch of people will be mad because they took the play early, right? So we want some levels to pay attention to for the day. All right, 442.93 to the upside, 437.19 to the downside here. So we'll have to see if we get some chop today again, right? Some chop Or are we going to get a definitive move and see that ripped away? Or is that going to chop around for a little bit and then we get we just have to be on our toes, but it really looks like this MACD wants to curl up. Maybe we could see a strong move if we get a good bar as we cross, right? We don't want to fizzle like this. We want to see a strong bar as we cross up into positive territory. Apple, this thing did cross, but this is what I'm talking about. That's that fizzling, right? And if you watched last night's YouTube video, you really saw how you can compare this to Tesla. Tesla got that big drop off after the earnings, flagged out, kind of sideways, then dropped again. So just be a little careful with Apple because this actually could lead into more selling, especially if it starts to have this look like Tesla. So if I just zoom out a little bit here, you're going to see this was Tesla, see the big drop off, and then we kind of just like trickle up this way, and then we just see some kind of fall down. So really paying attention if Apple crosses down into negative territory, right? So Apple, yes, it has some green impressions, but notice it's right by the center line, not the strong bar that you want. So if that just rolls over at any time, that would be a negative trend. Tesla, you already got that negative trend. Very cool to come and test the weekly expected move like to the T. Kind of looks like Amazon that 1 week where Amazon just bought up dramatically. Now Amazon really bought up dramatically, but we can pay attention to that for Tesla. Remember, a test of 180.92 would be great, right? We test that level. Maybe we start to break down from there, continuing this negative trend. If we're going to take that back, then this is going to roll positive, and then we can use that as support to actually head higher, maybe left head, right shoulder in this area up here. So we'll pay attention to that going forward. God, these allergies are killing me. All right, Amazon. Amazon looks like it wants to curl up where? Into positive territory, which means a positive move. Just notice that a triple divergence is on the table until we get rid of some of that, right? Until we go higher on the RSI. We don't necessarily have RSI and MACD divergence at the same time, so I suspect this would go up like this, and then we want to just pay attention for any kind of reversal, okay? If we're not going to reverse right now, then this won't prove itself, right? We can just watch this and it'll go way up, okay? So we'll just pay attention to this. Amazon, though, I think this is a scary look, as you would have daily divergence up here as well if you confirm a divergence in this area. Nvidia, a lot of people asking me, you know, where exactly is Nvidia going? No person can tell you exactly where a stock is going all the time. Like sometimes we have very obvious moves. If we break out of this, then yeah, test the high, go make a new one. But you always want to be on your toes because what if the stock just decides to do this, right? So what if it just decides to pop and drop really quickly? You want to pay attention to that as well. But this looks like a pretty obvious move if we can get to a break to the upside that we're going to go test maybe these highs or go to that weekly expected move. So we'll see what's happening with that. Be wary if it breaks to the downside. AMD very, very close to the center line. Looks like it wants to pop higher. That's perfectly fine. Where would we expect that to go to? Probably something like 160.87. That looks pretty good. So we'll see if that move is able to happen. But notice once you get up there, you'd be creating some kind of divergence. So anytime that we, test this high, go make a new one, I'm going to be paying attention to divergences. It looks like a time where we could actually have some bullishness behind us, weirdly enough. Like there's still some bullish things that can happen with buybacks and things like that, but it's just weird if we see these signals and then it's weird to see these type of signals if we're not going to see some kind of reversal, at least some kind of bigger pullback. Meta going forward, this one is going to be tight. This one's going to be really, really tight. I'm thinking about taking a position. If we can get a little pop higher, I'm probably taking a position to the downside for Meta just because this has really moved up for some time and we haven't seen that real big curl down towards the center line for the MACD. And we're starting to get to the point where it's like it's getting closer and closer to going negative. So if I just spread this thing out, you're going to see how it's really tilting down a little bit here. And so if we're going to see a pop here, that's perfectly fine. Watch out if that's brief because you're part of Patreon. You know there's a weekly range somewhere up in this area. Microsoft, this is the one that I took and I got out of, and now I can get back in. If this 15-minute wants to reverse right back around, that's perfectly fine with me. I'll just hop right back in this move, see that turn up in a positive territory, test this high. If I beat that one, I can test this one. If I beat that one, I can go even higher. So let's look at that 30-minute. 30-minute, really close to the center line. What does that mean? Well, if this is going to confirm, you'd probably already be past this high. So we're going to test this high, make a new one if we can get that confirmation. So Microsoft not necessarily looking too bearish at this moment. I kind of thought this would be a fake out, but it's good to be a good trader. Sell out because the signals are telling you to, and then just get right back in. Google, this one here, dipping down to the center line, kind of coming down to lower levels, and then let's see if we get some kind of pop. Remember, this is pretty much a cup and handle in this area, right? We got the cup, now we get a handle. That gets us close to the center line. Do we get some kind of pop in price? Well, we want to pay attention if it's confirming any divergences. I just want you guys to be aware of that this morning. Netflix, this one here, this has just been going up and up and up and up and up for a very long time. I'm going to pull this up on a 15-minute just to show you guys how close it is getting to that negative territory. And this is when you want to start to pay attention in a short squeeze. Once you get close to the center line with some divergences, right? So now we're close to the center line. If we get one more pop and that creates another one, well, then you'd say, hey, the likelihood that this goes negative for some kind of more dramatic pullback for Netflix, because this is all the pullback you got, looks very, very likely. SMCI doing similar thing, really tapering off here as well, really like wanting to go up this way and then kind of just moving sideways at this point. So you still can go make a new high down here on the MACD if you want to curl up on this 15-minute. You still can. We'll look at the 30-minute in a moment, but look at that divergence there that you got. So this is what I'm saying. It's like a time where bullishness really can come in at this point, but if that creates a divergence, maybe that bullishness has to wait till some data next week. Let's go take a look at volatility. I was actually watching this last night because I couldn't sleep at all. We actually saw this build back up, okay? So I was watching this build back up last night at like 3 a.m. and now we're seeing it drop back off. So we'll have to see if that's going to lead to anything. I like my 30 minutes for volatility here, and you're going to notice this. Remember I was talking about those divergences to the upside? If you actually see volatility fall from here and then get some kind of bounce like this, what do you have? You have divergence. You actually have triple divergence at the same time as the SPY and the keys creating some kind of divergence. So I would be very, very cautious at this level. Maybe something geopolitical is coming around the corner. I don't know exactly, but I'm just going to pay attention to the signals today because it looks like today's going to be a very important one going into the rest of the week, which we only have 2 days left, but. IWM, remember this was added to the Patreon. I might start posting daily ranges for this on YouTube or at least on Patreon. We'll have to see if I want to do that, but I think I even have them today. I just haven't posted them yet, but I'm trying to see if the community wants it. But you can see, get down towards the center line. What do? We curl back up. All right, test the high, go make a new one. So that would put us up towards that weekly expected move, I believe, and that would not be the best sign. You can just see that's a reversal type signal. Why am I getting a reversal signal if this is so bullish is kind of where my brain's at right now. The Dow, this thing screaming higher, did not get the pullback that happened yesterday, and we have to see, is that going to happen? Is the Dow going to drop off while the overall market is actually heading higher with the SPY and the Qs? Then we get a cup and handle and head lower. We'll pay attention to these signals today, especially this morning, but looks like a more significant pullback would be nice for the Dow. All right, let's go back over to the SPY. We're seeing a slight tick up in the pre-market, so we got about 7 minutes left, and I'm going to say hi to you guys and say good morning and drink the shit out of my coffee. Ooh. Luke's money making marketers. That sounds like you guys are making commercials and stuff like that. Morning, money makers. I like money makers. Money makers sounds cool. I don't like the SPY leaving such big gaps if it's going to go higher. Well, remember how we were talking in context of this squeeze, like why it would make sense to happen and why we were glad to get into this move. Remember that this was very unexpected by the market makers. Okay, so this was very unexpected, so they most likely were not happy with this coming down below these levels. And so what are they going to do? Well, they need to make their money back. And that's why this looks very fishy to me as we're testing these highs up here. Very important zone. We could move sideways for some time, right? Maybe sideways is how we're going to do it. But overall, you would say a short squeeze would make total sense also for the market makers because they were an unexpected move right here. Okay, so an unexpected move, what does that mean? Well, they're going to cause some kind of move that's a little bit unexpected to get to higher levels so that they can either get out of positions up here or they can take positions to make money back. That's what I would think. So we'll see what's going on with this, but the charts will tell us what's going to happen. The charts will tell us. Realty income? Realty income? I don't necessarily know exactly what you're talking about. Maybe that's my brain this morning, but if you have a ticker or something we can look at, that's what I would do. Like I said, my brain's a little slow, so you're going to have to help me out more than realty income. It's fine. But it looks like my hedge position's it's about to turn into a full-fledged short position, so see if I want to get back into Microsoft or something like that this morning. I'm going to be very careful with my trades. Not good to trade when you're a little tired or anything like that, so I will be paying close attention to my charts here. All right, Nvidia looking like it wants to break out, by the way. So Nvidia, even in the pre-market here, looking like a good move here. We'll have to see if that fully breaks out. That's the moment you want to pay attention. If we open at this level right here, like I said, you don't necessarily want to see this trickle out. You want to see a strong move. So we want a strong bar coming out of this open. All right, now I'm going to chug coffee and say hi to everyone. How you guys doing? Ticker O. Do you make sure to eat something? I'm a terrible eater in the morning, so I'll try to look at this guy. I can never remember what this one is. I thought it was Celsius, but I was like making sure. This one did cross up positive territory. It's trying to get into it now. So until you get into positive territory, you can't really say test this high or go make a new one. I totally understand the reasoning for maybe getting in a play here. Like, I get it. This is your big beatdown, all right? You've come up a little bit. I would just be a little worried because look at this. It could be a slanted head and shoulders in this area. So if this rolls down at any point, I wouldn't be taking any upside. Actually, if that starts to reject right now, I might say, hey, I made some money. I'm going to be careful with that one. As far as Celsius goes. Now, talking about this in a different context, we could look at a 2 hour or something like that, and this will maybe make it a little more clear. Hey, maybe it does want to make an upward move to get some kind of 2 hour divergence, and then we see that big drop off, right? 2 hour divergence likes to roll around that daily. So this is what I would say. Now, if you took this one right here, this was a good play from 73.50 all the way up to 79. Very good move there. Just rode that 5 for a while up. If you didn't get scared out by this, this was a good play. And actually, that's the same confirming bar. So that confirmed the move higher. And now you're making that move higher again. So 2 hour divergence, I would look out for that. If you want to get in a little earlier, well, look at that hourly. Okay, so if you got in on the 30-minute, this hourly actually turns up this morning, then you could definitely say, okay, test this high, go make a new one. We'll pay attention to an hourly divergence or something like that. So if that goes positive, then you can start to talk about testing highs and things like that. Is it literally just O? All right. Let's look at this guy real quick. Still, it looks very similar to everything else, right? Beat down. This is a good time to pay attention to it for some upside, but it needs to get that upside, right? So maybe something I would look at here. I know it's realty income, but I would look at HGX. I would look at HGX. I would look at this for the next move higher, see if that's able to move a little bit higher. That would give you another confirmation, but if you just see it on your chart there for O, if you just see it on your chart there, that confirms with a strong bar gets above the moving averages, right? If we can take back this 50 with a strong bar, I'd say, yeah, we test this high, we go make a new one, maybe head and shoulders. If we need some more liquidity to head higher, okay, we dip down a little bit around this area, we see the breakout, and that's when we start to head higher from here. Remember, today is Thursday? So if you want to join the Patreon, we give daily expected moves for every stock that we cover on this channel. That includes Google and Microsoft, includes Nvidia, AMD, includes all the ones that we pay attention to. I'm going to give those out tonight. Good luck. I like animes. Excited for the day. Welcome to the channel. Thank you guys so much for joining me live today. Make sure to smash that like button. Little rough night of sleep, I'll tell you that. But at least I was up at 3 a.m. watching stocks. So welcome in, Luke, Mojoma, Bernie. Welcome, Corey. Walter, PPK. Hopefully that was at least a little bit helpful. Junior, welcome. Matthew, Georgie, Dave's here this morning. Laws, Jeep, Nvidia, Diana, Donald. Who else is in here? Paula. God dang it, I gotta figure out how to say that name. The Dragon says good morning. Royby. And Parth is in here as well. So welcome in this morning. And Fardis, thank you so much for the donation yesterday. Appreciate you. Good morning, traders. John's in here saying good morning. And Ryan says, hey. Oh, back when Tinder first came out, my move was to send hey with the wavy hand. That's all I did. That is all I did when Tinder first came out when I was like 22 or 21, whatever. But thank you guys for joining this morning. I might be a little sluggish. Maybe my energy level will come back up in a moment. All right, let's see how we're opening up for the SPY right now. It looks like we're opening up at a little higher level. Are we able to curl up on that MACD? Not just yet. Let's see if anything was able to. Apple, as of right now, trying to kind of wonky on this, right? So we're kind of like, Apple doesn't look the best. Tesla doesn't look the best. Amazon making a strong move, confirming it higher. So there's your strong move confirming the higher move. That would say test the high, go make a new one. Just be very cautious. Now, is Nvidia actually breaking out? Well, this is the strong move. Look at that. That's a good bar. That's a good bar compared to what we had. We've really had a big fight here, coiling up, getting tight, so you'd expect a big move. So let's see if that big move is going to be to the upside this morning. AMD, did that guy want to bounce this morning? Well, it's not really trying to that hard, so we'll have to see if that gets the strong bar. We're not necessarily getting those strong bars up at this point. Remember, Meta is going to be tough to go higher from this area. Or was I on Meta? Yeah, I was on Meta. Microsoft, this one, trying to trail back down, not getting the best news yesterday. So we'll see if that's able to come to fruition. As of right now, we'll see if that's able to head to lower levels. But if that curls up at any time, we can start to say, hey, yeah, make another positive move. Google, another positive move. If we can see that positivity come in, we can be very happy with it. Let's go over to the Qs. We're just going to leave it on the Qs for a brief moment here while I sip on some coffee. I would just really pay attention to how the dollar's behaving, and then I'd also pay attention to the VIX while looking at my charts. Silver got past SLV here. Ooh, let's see. All right, able to curl up, positive territory. Now you got to be a little weary of some divergence, but at the same time, you'd say this could be the head and shoulders that we were looking for. So if this wants to break out, okay, that's perfectly fine. What about a retest? That could happen. As of right now, it's confirming the next move higher. Let's see on an hourly, right? Confirming the next move higher, but you're already overbought. So just be a little cautious up in these areas, especially if you made yourself like a weekly expected move for this. That'd be very powerful. Something you can learn on the course down in the description is you can learn how to make a simple range for this, which will tell you how far silver's expected to go. Pretty good to make that range that way using Robinhood. That's what we give away in the course. And now we're seeing that upward move, big upward move. Let's go take a look at gold. If this scrolly wheel will scrolly wheel. And gold looks like it's about to make its next move higher. It really does. I'd pay attention to 217.21, right? We could see some kind of head and shoulders from there. So just pay attention to that. But didn't AMC or someone or no, maybe it was GME. I think GME has maybe earnings. Thought I saw some people posting this. Now I was looking at this move. And I was like, could I have been in this move at all? Yeah, 2-hour divergence is kind of leading you to believe, yeah, once that goes positive, you could say, hey, divergence is here, big pop coming. So it looks like that squeeze is on for GameStop. And what happened here? Well, we curled back down to the center line. We curled back up. So swing trading this was the way to go. Bitcoin, what's Bitcoin up to? It's still dropping to lower levels. So not able to build back up. So you got to be worried because Bitcoin's just been falling here. Now it looks like there are buyers within this drop. So I'd pay attention to that. But this move right here, not really confirming the next move higher by going positive, and that's a big deal. So we need this to go positive. Coin, this is one that even I'm thinking about taking a play on because it looks pretty good. I mean, it looks like you got multiple 0.2 hour divergence at this point, and that can roll up the daily. So that's what I'm saying. You're seeing a lot of things that actually look like they could go bullish, like really bullish, like Bitcoin. Coin, if they just see some bounces up here, they can actually be pretty bullish looking. So that's interesting to see. Yeah, exactly, Esker. You got it. Yep, it's very, very simple to do. Now, that's not going to be the best range, Esker. I'm calculating the actual range using the implied volatility. So mine's going to be more accurate than yours. But that is exactly how you do it right there. Good eye on you. All right, we're starting to bounce to higher levels. See if this kind of goes across the board. Chugging coffee to hopefully wake up. But that's the market's expected move. Yeah, that's how you pretty much do it. But the actual calculation, like my spreadsheet, will calculate it closer, like a more exact number, I guess. And that's just I've used the Robinhood method plenty. I've used the actual calculation to know like, okay, these are a little bit better. But usually Robinhood will be like a little bit close if you use that method, or if you use any. You can use any platform really to do it. But as of right now, you know, this is what that range might look like. So it's just a little bit more accurate, and then you can gravitate towards that. The VIX is starting to pop. Yes, it is. And that happened while I was awake last night, but we'll have to see. It's still in negative territory. Till that goes positive, you're still in a downtrend overall, right? So don't get convinced like, hey, this is the moment until you're starting to see big things happen. I would say like 2 hours going positive, and look how far away that is. You literally could just experience still some sideways price action for a while, drop back down to 12.12. I'm talking about the market as far as price action goes. Obviously, the VIX, this is not a price for the VIX. Dollar, see, even though we're seeing a little pullback, the dollar's still dropping off, so not necessarily too worried about anything here. But we will pay attention to the signals. This has not crossed up, so the next upward move is not confirmed. Yeah, I like the level of 13, Esker. That's that level we've been talking about for a while. We said, you know, when we squeeze, I think we go towards that gap fill, which is right around 13. Or we go all the way down to 12.12. A lot of short squeezes lead towards you going down to 12.12. How's everyone doing this morning? Did everyone else get some sleep? Did you guys get some sleep? How much sleep did you guys get? I'm jealous. I got like maybe 3 hours. We're a little slow. Like I said, I never pay for your goods, just paid attention. Hey, that's perfectly fine with me. Been up since 4:30. Little one's fussy. Yeah. Hey, I hear that, man. She's going through the growth spurt and like that moment in time, there's like a 2-week period where she starts to realize like what's in the world, and she starts to actually like focus on stuff. She needs to be entertained. And I'm the entertaining one. For the most part. Teething sucks too. I don't think I've gone through any teething obviously yet, but that's probably coming in the next couple months here. It blows lots of bubbles. Sometimes I feel better on less sleep. Not 3 hours though, bro. I have 4 kids plus, including a baby girl, so I know what you're going through on me. Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, I hear what you say. Like usually, if I get like 6 hours, I actually feel pretty good. Like I don't feel groggy or anything. If I get like 8, then I'm feeling a little bit groggy. If I get less than 5, then I'm starting to feel just like tired. Right, just tired, and it didn't help that my allergies are kicking in yesterday as well. I might go take an allergy pill, actually. But we're still following charts, right? We're still showing up today, so thank you guys for liking. I really appreciate it. Carvana with a big gap. Carvana with a big gap. Ooh. If you lose that level, that's not pretty, but if we can turn around here, that would look okay. Big push up. Curls back down to the center line. If we can go positive, then you would say, hey, Carvana can go higher. At this moment, though, if you cut through this level right here, if you get a definitive bar down below that, and the market lets it have it, right, there's no messiness to buy it right back up today. If we can close the day in this area, then you actually have a chance to head down to lower levels. Where's the M2 money supply coming from? Oh, God. Maybe I'll go look at that real quick. Ooh, a little fake out on Nvidia early on in the day today. Did anyone else catch that? Nvidia popping up with that strong bar and then dropping right back down, trapping some bulls this morning. Not confirming the move higher. It was trying to confirm it, and then now it's just giving up all those gains and dropping off pretty dramatically. Oh my gosh, that is dramatic. If you guys aren't paying attention to this, look at Nvidia right now. That is a kind of bad sign. Oh yeah, that's a bad sign. All right. 5 minute really breaking down right there. 30 minute really breaking down. Right before that confirmation, it gets like serious rejection. Probably targeting something like 884.96 if that continues. Holy crap, that is a big downward move, guys. ARM shares fall as have forecast. Hey, there it is. So as of right now, direction chosen for Nvidia dropping to lower levels. So what could we read into here? Well, it's going to be 15-minute probably, building up to the center line, crossing back down. See if this lasts. But damn, that is telling you the direction right now. Now, it's been a lot of traps coming in. But yeah, you could fall much lower if you're going to be in some kind of flag, or maybe the flag's here, right? We got to see, but we won't really know where the flag's at until we get another touch point. Maybe it just wants to fill this gap and then trap people to the downside. I don't know, but let's go look at volatility and the dollar, actually. Dollar not going dramatically up here. Ooh, that's ooh, okay. All right. That's not good. Now the 30-minute, if it's able to go positive here, that would be a bad sign for the stock market. Part of me is like, damn, I wish I had a full-fledged short position in case something really bad happens. But that volatility is really popping on almost a nothing drop. Now, Nvidia, that's not a nothing drop. That is almost a confirmation of downside, right? We coiled up for quite some time. Now you're getting the big move. I can look at my weekly range. I know my weekly range is way down there, and we got some gaps to fill. So if this is some kind of fluke, and this is going to be like, you know, trap to the upside, okay, trap to the downside, then we end up going up. Well, just pay attention if this curls up positive. As of right now, rolling over negative, really rejecting here. So we're going to have to really pay attention to this 30-minute bar. It's going to be very, very important. Wow. Fishy squeeze. Yeah, it just looks funky to me. The reason it looks funky is because there are bullish things that could happen over the next few weeks, like buybacks and things like that. And it's like, why would it look like it's going to reverse? Even with a pop here, it looked like we would get some kind of dud up in this area. So just weird. If we even got that move, that would look weird to me too. Is ARM going up? ARM's going down, man. ARM's going real down. Weirdly enough, you got a divergence here, right? You got that divergence on the MACD a little bit down, and then just flatness of the RSI. Now that leads you to believe pullback, but earnings come out, and you got to take the technicals with a grain of salt there, because this is really just a 50-50 flip. So this easily could have went the other way. I want to point that out, but choosing the direction right now, that direction is down. Nvidia choosing a direction right now, that direction is down and able to go negative right now. So I'd really be on my toes. Remember, we were talking about if there's more construction in this move, well, where would we head to pretty quickly? 858. As far as a bounce goes, if this is going to be a fake out, I think something like 884 would hold up. If you look at towards 884, it kind of matches with this level in here. These highs matches with these highs. This is kind of where we broke out from. So if we want to retest that real quick, that's kind of what I'm leaning towards there. As far as when we see that, oh my gosh, that is just ripping away, guys. All right, let's click around. Let's look at Microsoft. Microsoft definitely not confirming the move up, but not dropping down like Nvidia. AMD, are you seeing pressure? AMD seeing pressure as well. So some selling pressure. Remember, AMD also has that zone for some kind of test, but we can still pay attention. We're just reacting once we see this roll up. Wow, what a move down. PLT kind of hinting at that this morning with this gap down. HYG, what did you end up doing? HYG confirming a downward move makes total sense here. So there you go. Downward move makes sense. What's that doing with volatility? Not really seeing a big pop in volatility. So what's the Dow doing? See, this is why it's so fishy too, is like the Dow just like slightly going higher. Very weird behavior. IWM, what about small caps? Not seeing as much struggle. Qs are the ones that are really going to suffer, obviously. I don't know if I'm convinced this is falling down. I don't know. This thing has been really choppy. Let me go into some stuff here. 5 minute. Let's look where that's at. Still by positive territory. Actually, a 5 minute slight divergence here for a double top. But, 5 minute divergence, take that with a grain of salt for sure. Very weird. But remember this, like we bought up from this area. We bought up from this area. It has potential to be a trap, but as of right now, you would say Nvidia really choosing that direction. Going down to 888. I think 884 would be where it really wants to get to, but we'll see if we can build back up from here. There it goes. Oh, I thought it was going to go for a second. Right now at 888, which is testing the wicks of those highs. But if we start, okay, so here's where Nvidia gets a little bit more scary. If Nvidia starts to lose these levels, you start to flip into an environment where any buying is met with sellers. So it does not want to remain here too long. So we'll really pay attention here. That is something to really watch. That is a direction chosen, right? So right now, 2%, nothing to shy away from. You got to pay attention to this. And Nvidia, this is the one I was saying in the YouTube video last night. Hey, you really got to see which way Nvidia tries to break this thing. Now it gets a brief break to the upside and then just gives it all away. So this is a key thing too. Make sure you're waiting till these bars like fully close, or at least are close to closing, because look how that early on happens and then it's ripped away. Now we're down at 887 almost. That's so crazy. We're about to test 880. 885 is actually the level. I have it a little off on my chart over here. Saw an unusual option trade of 4,000 contracts for sold calls and sold puts at $5 strike. Expiration May 17th on SoundHound. What would be the point of this? Good versus bad results. I actually was looking at SoundHound. I was looking at this and I was like, I wonder what the opportunity really is. Now you're at a very important time for SoundHound. And this is something my dad was obsessed with this one, so this is funny. But seeing some upward price action here, where do you need to hold up? I'd say right there. Right where we're at right now, we probably need to hold up. Now I can make another one, right? We could maybe take these lows instead. This might be a better angle for us, right? Something like that. So maybe we get rid of this one. We just say, hey, there's your structure. Okay, so what would I expect from here? A lower high. A lower high would make sense if we're going to break down, actually. Either that or we just give it up right now. So very, very crazy. Nvidia really crashing. Nvidia 884, there it is, 884, 885. This is the area where, if this is going to be a trap, I assume it's right there. If this is going to be more construction to go find buyers or something, then it would go down. But once you're in this area, you're below this level. So now you're rolling negative. You have potential to continue that trend. Very interesting behavior from Nvidia this morning. Well, travel is a big indication of how people are doing in the economy. If people aren't traveling, then that just tells you what? It says, hey, people aren't going to spend money on these big trips, which means places like, say, Orlando, a place where a ton of investors have a ton of rental properties, is going to suffer. And in times of stress, Orlando has some of the biggest price drops you'll ever see. And I actually pay attention to that. I like to look around on Zillow at bigger cities or cities that get a lot of traveling to them. And I looked at Orlando, and you'll see a lot of homes chopping 10, 20, sometimes 30% off of these investment properties. So that's telling you there is weakness with the consumer, in my opinion. And now we're seeing people are less likely to go into more debt with the readings we got as far as the data goes, right? So if we go back and I check the data for a second, do this week. If I go back and check the data for a second, where was that data piece? It was like, maybe it was last week. Consumer credit change, that's what it was. So consumer credit change dropping dramatically, expected to come in at like 15 billion. The previous was 14.12 billion. And it came in at 6.27. So that just tells you the credit, people aren't putting as much stuff on credit. Maybe they're not able to. Maybe they're defaulting on stuff. We could look at defaults and things like that. But that just tells you this right here, less people willing to put more things on the credit card. At least that's how I read into it. But technically, the initial jobless claims, that will be like almost like an unemployment type thing. So that is unemployment kind of ticking up, which is a good thing to fight inflation, but a bad thing overall for the actual economy. So now we're coming down into that 884. Okay, we came down into that 884, and then we're starting to see that bounce. So right in between, I would say, yeah, what is this? 888 and 884 is where you need to bounce for Nvidia. Weird though. Some weird behavior. Pretty much looks like a flag at this point. If we probably moved it like this, doesn't that look like a flag? So now you don't want to necessarily always change your drawings, right? Because then you can convince yourself of a million different things. You want to be like, okay, this was definitely what was going on right here, right? We compiled up. We know this is definitely what was going on here. We pile up, we get tight, we see an explosive move. We know that was happening. So I'm going to keep this on my chart. If we get some kind of retest and then head lower, just note if we start to close below these levels on some big time frames, it's not a pretty look. It is a very bad look, actually. Nvidia bouncing back with some volume in it. At 836. Yeah, I have it down in lower areas. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not don't I mean, maybe it's my lackluster energy levels right now, but I'm not surprised if we break down. This just looks like like maybe someone could point this out. Maybe you guys can give your opinion. Why are we breaking down? Why is Nvidia breaking down right now? Is there some news I'm not aware of or something like that? But we see the direction. The direction's chosen. Okay, first point you need to hold up is somewhere around 885, right in the center of pretty much 888 to 884. Watch it reverse all the way up. It can. Look at this thing. I mean, if you really want to talk about it in an uptrend, okay, well, if you're day trading, it's like, all right, trap for the bulls, trap for the bears, trap for the bulls, trap for the bears. Big breakout trap for those bulls. Now, big breakout trap for the bears. This is really hurting people this morning. I know that. Yeah, it's definitely oversold on a 5-minute for sure, but you'd more just want to pay attention to a support level here. And if we take this back, what do I see? I see resistance, I see resistance, I see resistance. So there's a little box right in here. If I draw that out, you'll see it a little better. That was hard to do. See that box? That's where you would want to retest. And look, that's what we're retesting. So it's consolidating in a range. Yeah, this still could be consolidation. It's not anything too crazy, right? Nvidia swings 2% up and down almost every day. But that is a breakdown, and now we have to see if that's a fake out in order to actually head higher. Maybe it just needed some buyers. It might have just needed some buyers or something like that. SPY still remaining strong, even being green. So you're asking for volatility to scale up. Not happening. It's actually getting a red bar as of right now. Dollar actually going down. So as Nvidia goes down, the dollar goes down. So what do you take from that? Well, buyers might be stepping in. We're still in that environment where buyers can step in. It's strange behavior. Minimal movement in Nvidia until the bond auction. Bond auctions at what time today? Bond auctions 10:30, 11, and noon for me, Central Time. JP Morgan increased to a 4-week high of 196.65. What is JP Morgan? What are these freaking JP Morgan Chase? JP Morgan Chase. Wow. If that confirms downside here, that could be a lower high scenario, but this does look very cup and handle like, doesn't it? Big cup, big handle. Now we break out, go touch the point between these highs. Very interesting. Let's look at the daily scale here. Able to turn up into positive territory. So this would say, what? We're going to test this high, go make a new one on the daily scale. That's what it would say. I just pay attention to the 2-hour rolling over now. That's something that could screw you out of a trade, right? But really, the daily's telling you, I'm going to test this high, I'm going to make a new one, but watch out because I'm making a divergence, right? We see all these divergences across the way, flatness on the MACD, but downward here, downward across the way, downward here. Now, do we come make 1 point here? Or do we get behavior like this? Do we keep going like dit, 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 and get a bunch of little touches up in this area? JP Morgan. Interesting. What I would pay attention to with this, 2-hour curling over, negative territory, but you're starting to see just strength here. That is very, very bullish move. So I think that daily momentum's taking over. I don't think you're going to see this divergence. You know, a lot of the time I'm like, the ones that I really say like, oh, pay attention here because this looks like it could happen. It's like this one could happen, but do I think this one happens? Not necessarily at this point. I can look at 30 minutes and things like that to just see that's a skyrocket of a move. If that digests, it's just going to head higher. If it cannot give this away, if it can just move a little sideways, go back up, well, then you got a new high. You got that daily divergence on the play. Volatility. HYG. HYG not fully breaking down here. The dollar is going more negative, right? And the SPY is still holding up. So we just have to pay attention. Let's look back at Nvidia. That's bought up by another 0.5 from here. So it's only down 1.5 now. It was down 2.2% at one point. Let me do something real quick, guys, and I'll get back to the chat, all right? I'll get right back to the chat in 2 seconds, Turkish. 2 seconds, Turkish. Alrighty. Hey, let me know if you're part of the Patreon in the chat. I'm going to get to the chat on Patreon in a moment. But I just wanted to ask you guys what you were thinking about giving some ranges for IWM every single day. All right, I gotta switch. I gotta flip some stuff around here. I don't know why that's in my head. I am Siamese, if you please. All right. So we're paying attention. We're seeing what's happening across the board here. As of right now, looking pretty interesting, but I don't see a definitive direction just yet. I mean, obviously, for Nvidia, we just want to see if that's a fake out. That's a definitive direction. Sorry, I didn't mean to say it like that, but more, I just want to see if this is some kind of fake out. Alrighty then. I need to drink another cup of coffee, I think. Thoughts on Intel? Yeah, we can go look at Intel. That'll be a nice break from Nvidia for a second. INTC. All right. So this one here, I'd pay attention to a 2 hour. Look at that, rejecting from that level. So what do I want to see if I see something like this? Well, I need some form of confirmation. So look at that hourly. Ooh, Intel. This is what I'm saying. There's a lot of stuff can go very, very bullish here, actually. Intel looks like it might make a big move. Let's look at that from the daily scale. What does that look like? Ooh, it curled up. It's trying to curl up on that MACD. It's been beat down for a while. Some kind of reaction, maybe to go test the 20 at 33. Maybe we get a big reaction, go all the way to 38. That's what I'm saying. Like, some stuff has been beat up and could start to buy back up. So if I was paying attention to this, hey, a little hourly play would make sense here. You got the divergence. You got the divergence on the RSI and MACD at the same time. Very, very significant. But just keep this in mind. This has been very, very down. What happened the last time with divergences here? Well, we saw all these divergences here on the MACD. We see all the divergences down here on the RSI. Very good, very good sign for some kind of bounce. What did that bounce give us? Let's go look at this. What did this bounce from the low even give us? 3.5%. That's it. So this has to remain positive here. Maybe this is the chance. Maybe this is it right here. SPY going up. Check on silver. Silver had a good move. It broke out of that resistance. I love the gap up here, by the way. I love the gap up. I love when I see this, right? And I know this is not the best thing you want to see as like a trader or something, because you kind of miss out on the move a little bit. But when you are in an important area and you know that the resistance is right here, the major resistance is right here, what do? Sneaky, sneaky, they gap above it so you can't even see that happen. They don't allow the sellers to step in. So at this moment, boom, big reaction up. Let's see if that bases out. Look at this, though. 1 hour or 30-minute divergence. Pay attention to that. I still think there's definitely room upside for silver. I think silver is worth a lot more than what it is right now. But just because I think that doesn't mean it has to happen. If this confirms divergence, what's going to happen? Well, we could see a retest or a reversal in trend, right? We could go negative. So Still paying attention to this, but not the best look. SMCI selling off by 2.9%. That's a pretty regular move. It's SMCI, guys, right? Yeah, some chop going on. I guess that's the best way to put it. Let's look at Nvidia now at 1.33. Okay, so as of right now, you want to see if this is maybe doing something like this, and then breaks down further. That's what I would pay attention to. Amazon, yeah, we can go check on Amazon as well. Remember, Amazon going up to higher prices. Very, very careful in this level, guys. Very, very careful. Microsoft also seeing it bounce up, but let me go over Amazon a little bit more. I feel like I lackluster did that. So Amazon, the reason you have to be careful, by the way, is just because, yeah, you did have divergence here on the MACD. You didn't have it on the RSI at the same time, but if you pop up to here, you'll have a triple divergence on the MACD, and if you can confirm that downward move, well, then you'd have a divergence on the RSI at the same time behind a triple divergence on the MACD, getting very close to the center line. This is why I'm like, I see things like Intel that look like they could have a big bounce. I see things like Microsoft. I see things like Nvidia. I see things like AMD. I see things like Google. All these things look like they could make the next move higher. But why am I seeing these signals on certain charts? I would say Amazon and Meta both telling you like, hey, there is weakness right where we're at, right? Meta telling you a very similar thing. Did I delete Meta off of here? Guys, am I blind? Tesla, Amazon, Nvidia, AMD, Microsoft. What the flip? How did that get deleted off the chart? Maybe I accidentally hit the delete button. I probably accidentally hit the delete button. It happens to me all the time. All right, Meta. The reason Meta is showing you some weakness up here, and why I'm thinking of taking a play on that at least down to 453, is just because look at this. It's fading. You got a lot of divergences here on the RSI adding up. You make another move higher, well, you're just setting up another divergence point for this MACD to go negative. This is not what you want to see really right now. Now, if we squeeze, this can get rid of all of that, right? If we squeeze, but the weekly expected moves up in this area, right in this area, we can go make that divergence outside of it. That's when I really like to pay attention to it. And then we see some kind of drop off. But this is telling you like, hey, this is as high as I can go. Amazon telling you, hey, this is as high as I can go. Tesla breaking down to lower levels. Apple building back up. Look at that strong move. That's a strong move there. Maybe I want some more confirmation on an hourly, but good move there. So it's like Apple's saying, I can go a little higher, but watch out above you. It's very interesting behavior. And then the Dow's screaming right now. Dow is just screaming, squeeze, 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 squeeze. So we might just continue to squeeze. Now, one thing I was looking at, because I was, dying this morning at 3 a.m., was oil. Look at this move from oil. Look at that 2-hour divergence, right? 2-hour triple divergence down here. Seeing that on the RSI at the same time, and we get that big bounce. Remember, oil and the stock market was kind of going hand in hand until right around here. Then we started to break down while the stock market went up. So that's what I was paying attention to. But now it looks like oil's trying to catch up to the market. So something very interesting was energy has actually been in a flow going up. I believe that's as the market goes. Okay, I'm not going to comment on that because my brain can't think of it. I was doing a lot of research this at like 3 a.m. and I don't want to say something wrong. I'll make sure to double check and write it in my notes and mention it in the video if it's important. But there was some kind of correlation between energy and the stock market that I was really paying attention to. Ooh, gold. Look at that move from gold. Solid confirmation higher. Didn't even get overbought in this area, by the way. So if anything, you would say, hey, well, what could we do? We could react up to 217. Then we see some kind of right shoulder. Boom. Doesn't this look a little bit like silver? Like silver, right? Except silver was able to pile up in this area and see that gap above its important resistance. Gold not able to do that just yet. SPY going crazy. Let's go look at the SPY real quick. Let's get back to it. Okay, I'm buying a new mouse soon. SPY not going nuts, but looks like it wants to confirm an upward move. So this is, it's just a fishy looking moment. Maybe this will turn into not a fishy looking moment by the end of the day or by the end of the week. We'll pay attention, but We're looking for those confirmations higher, and we're just not getting them yet. Alrighty. Now I gotta see if I want to take a chance on anything. Let's look at this on the 15-minute. Remember, if this 15-minute curls back around, we can say the upward move is gonna come. Very interesting. And Nvidia starting to break down just again here. Not showing much strength from that bounce. Look at the triple divergence on Amazon. This is very cool. So you want that at the same time. So if we get this at the same time, which don't include the wick here, don't include the wick with the divergence here. I go by it measures by the closing bars. That's how I have it set up. So you need closing bars up here, and then you can really say divergence. Interesting. Sorry guys if I sneeze a bunch. I was sneezing a bunch yesterday too. But see if I have this right. Page there. All right. Now we want to pay attention to this. I think this would be telling for the next move higher. If volatility can drop off here, confirm a downward move, that would be huge because you're doing it at the same time as the SPY making an upward move. And remember this, there is a difference between the Dow and the SPY and the Qs. So if the Dow is saying, even with all the price action, like take these indicators out for a second, if the Dow is saying big upward move, the SPY follows this a lot of the time. Okay, so maybe the SPY is going to make that move in a moment. And look at that, it is printing green. And what do we say overall in last night's video? Well, once you do this, once you actually confirm up, you're probably going to be testing that high. So look at that, we're testing the high now. If we can break out from this level, that would be massive. And you might just see this thing boom. One thing I might go look at, I'm going to go look at Max Payne. I'm going to go look at Max Payne. Pretty much, do you guys see my thinking here is like, I'm trying to find my edge in the overall market. I can't really find one yet. I'm not getting confirmations. I'm seeing Nvidia breakdown. One thing I can look at is like home builders or HGX. Sometimes that is a hint of what's to come, and look at that strength coming in. Maybe I want to look at HYG. That's not breaking down. So even though Nvidia making that downward move, HYG not breaking down. This is the smart money. So smart money not fully selling today. Actually seeing some green come in. Maybe that's my little bit of edge. Now, one thing to note about today. Holy freaking crap. Your put to call ratio is 2.0859. And it is at 515 for the SPY. All right, so what would you pay attention to here? Well, the previous bar, where's 515? 515 is all the way down here by where our daily expected move. So if that means a lot of these people are underwater, they could get squeezed today. They could really get squeezed today. Now I'm going to check tomorrow because obviously tomorrow's going to have more expiration. You have a 1.7 put to call ratio. So if the price action keeps going up from here, you could squeeze pretty heavy going into the rest of the week. Now that first call wall coming in at 515, or put wall coming in at 515, you also have a little bit smaller call wall there. The call wall you're paying attention to right now, 520. 520 is where I would say is that call wall. So if we make an upward move, well, 520 is where I'm expecting resistance. Where is that at? Right around my daily and my weekly expected move. So we can make some kind of hip fire move out of this and see that ripped away. So pay attention if we get up to this area. And then we just want to make sure that other stocks are able to follow suit. I think one of them that really needs to follow, Microsoft. I think this one needs to follow suit if we're going to see that upward move. Google might need to make an upward move from here. So we got to see who's going to be backing this right now. Nvidia's not backing it. That's why I'm saying like Microsoft, Google need to back it. As of right now, what you have Apple and Tesla moving higher. And Tesla's not moving higher, by the way. That is barely moving higher. You pretty much have Amazon and Apple moving higher, confirming upward moves, while everything else is really struggling. Really struggling. Very strange environment. So VIX, if this can curl down, okay, if this can curl down, what would have to happen? Well, we got to take out this low. That would give you the confirmation. Then we can go fill this gap or head a lot lower. We'll pay attention if this bases out and goes up, like if the SPY gives us that divergence at the same time. As of right now, HYG still struggling. I'm not too scared out of anything. I'm just trying to figure out what is going on. And right now, what is the only thing that I'm seeing? Okay, the dollar is dropping off, which tells us this selling in here, someone is buying it at this point. Someone's buying it. And I think maybe Nvidia is a trap at this point, but I have to pay attention to this. This is a very dramatic move. Maybe I want to look at Nvidia's max pain. I want to find some kind of edge with Nvidia. So I'm not saying this has to be a trap. Oh, Nvidia had a ton of calls towards 950, a ton of calls towards 920, ton of calls at 900. First put wall at 850. Okay, so 850 would be down towards this gap fill. We'll have to see if that's going to happen. So it looks like people are very bullish on Nvidia right now, as most retail, I would say, are bullish on Nvidia, and that's why you're seeing the downward move. I think they're trying to shift that. They're trying to lose some people some money for some kind of trap is really what I think is going on here. Because if this wasn't a trap being formed, and I could be wrong about that, I could be totally wrong about it, that's fine. I'm not trying to play this right now. I'm just trying to think of it out loud to kind of like find my edge. And I'm not necessarily finding an edge. All I'm seeing is TLT says downward move is correct. HYG is holding up a little bit better here. This is that smart money. And if that curls up at any point, I'm really going to be paying attention. But usually we do kind of follow what the Dow does even the next day or something like that. So we could see the SPY head up, right? A lot of people talk about when the Dow makes a downward move while the SPY is still holding up at higher levels. People pay attention to that. So why can't you pay attention to it the other way? Right now, the Dow going to a new high, able to beat this one, but the SPY not doing that just yet. Now the SPY's competing with it, but not able to break through. So we'll have to really be on our toes today. This is a great day to be paying attention to some stocks, right? You didn't want to take an off day today. I would say that. Nvidia now down 2.05%, about to test that level again of that range between 888 and 884. See if that makes a new low on this 30-minute bar. I'm just keeping an eye on it while we're on the SPY here. What do you guys think? You're too bullish. Trade like water. I'm waiting for the signal. I'm waiting for the signal because I'm ready to react. But I do still have shorts in play. I still have the volatility play there. So weirdly enough, you guys are catching me at a time where I'm actually bullish and bearish at the same time. The reason I'm bullish and bearish at the same time is because if this would play out, I want to be on my toes. This is very, very simple. I mean, my hedge is still in play. If I go up to this level, I'm probably taking a full-fledged short position. So I have a little bit of a position. If this goes down, I sell out of my calls and anything, and I just go, okay, I'm done. But I haven't even reacted to those calls, so this hedge is hedging pretty much nothing at this point, right? The thing I want to pay attention to is I still think Microsoft might be the best opportunity just because of that daily scale and things like that. That daily ripping up, that looks like a strong move. Now we're retesting, we connect. Ooh, that's what we could do. Did the 5 catch up? We haven't lost the 5. Okay. All right, let's think of this like this. If we lose the 5, be a little bit worried. It should be algo-ish, true. That MACD on Nvidia, it's rejecting. It's rejecting really, really hard. But I want to point out something from yesterday, just looking at the daily scale here. We have a low, right? We kind of made a lower high and a lower low from the previous day. What are we doing today? Well, as of right now, we have actually a higher high from the previous day. Very interesting. Caught the initial downward run and following upward. Time to walk away with profit. Hey, that's all right. Congratulations. Why is IWM breaking out? A lot of the time, those small caps, they will lead the market in the direction. And look at this, the test of the 5, guys. The test of the 5. The test of the 5. Remember, there's still a 90% chance we test top Bollinger. And look at these kind of evening out. We could move sideways for quite some time. right? So we haven't test top Bollinger. That's like a 90% chance that we do that. So, but we have to test the 5-day first. We haven't done that. So we could see something turn back around, see some kind of test down towards this level of 515.50, and then we start to see an upward move. But as of right now, we're just seeing this scoop up to the upside. If you wanted to really talk about it too, you would say, hey, well, where did it want to make the cup and handle? There's your cup. What if you get a handle right now? Maybe we want to go into a 5-minute, see if that thing can remain positive, right? Maybe we want to do that. This is a very complex market at this moment, to be totally honest with you. You can see it from, usually I'm very decisive. I'm like, this can happen, this can happen, this can happen. You can see it in how I'm talking right now. It's very, very interesting. One important skill that I learned from you is looking at different time frames along with other indicators. Thank you. You're welcome, BK. And I think looking at different time frames is very important. You can find out how you can get screwed out of a trade. It's kind of like the best thing you can do if you are voting for a president is pay a close attention to the other side as well. Even if you're leaning towards one, you want to pay attention to the other one to know, like, is this the best option? Is this really it? Or is this guy just saying a bunch of stuff that's good and then going to screw me over? That's kind of what we're doing in the stock market. We're just saying, yes, this looks like a bullish time for that 30-minute to curl up, but how could I get screwed out of that play? But thank you for saying that, BK. Really appreciate it. Do you think AMD will see 200 down the road? We can go look at AMD. I would say it has a shot. I'd say it. Oh, we're touching in that zone. We are touching in that zone. All right, AMD really dropping off here. Nobody told me. In order for AMD to have a shot at going to 200, and I think that's very unlikely, actually, to see a rapid move all the way up to 200 would be very, very unlikely. But what can we take into consideration here? Well, if you start to build back over time, if you're treating this as an investment, you're like, I like this level, I'm going to watch that daily go up. We would first need to break out, make some structure, right? We would need to see a breakout through this level. That would give you a solid move up. The buyers would be pretty committed here. You could see a big move. Will that get to 200? That's where it gets a little iffy, because the environment we're in right now, if this went to 200, first of all, we'd probably see the stock market almost like look like hyperinflation, first of all, if that rapid move happened like that. So this will take a lot of time. It'll take a lot of time to get up to this area. Right? Wouldn't that make more sense? And then look at that, by the end of the year or towards November, then you could maybe say, oh yeah, it's going to go to 200. But this is very worrisome. You don't necessarily want to like see some curl up and then just get up towards that center line, curl back down, because even if you get all the way up here, test the low, go make a new one. So hard to say if that would get to 200. Anything's possible. Just know that. Don't ever ask if it's possible. Anything is possible in the market. But does it look likely right now to go all the way up to 200? As of right now, no. You have a lot of work to do. I think that's how it would look, though. Max pain indicator is interesting. QQQ is hanging out right around its maximum pain level. And now you're going to see that change a little, Darwin. So even though you're looking at max pain, just know that that 0 DT will affect that throughout the day. So it's probably not just going to sit there all day unless people are kind of just like buying calls and puts in the same area. Usually there's a definitive break of those lines, or it's like a support level or a resistance level or something like that. Everything is ping-ponging. Complex meaning insane and illogical. Big dog. My big dog, you got it right. It is very, very weird. But yeah, Pitching Academy, as far as IWM goes, a lot of the time the small caps can lead the market, weirdly enough, from like basing out and things like that. Now, it hasn't led the market lately. You wouldn't say it's been leading the market, right? It really hasn't been leading the market. But in this move, you would say, what did it need to do? It needed to reconnect with the 5. It was the first one to do it. It reconnected with the 5. It even tested top Bollinger, and now it's trying to make that move higher with that. We'll have to see what happens. Want to watch how that changes to learn from it. Now, it won't update, at least the link that I use, it won't update during the day. Now, there's systems you can buy to do it, but I don't do 0 DTE, so The more thing that I just watch is I'm like, okay, PCC, okay, what's looking like here? What does that mean for the stock? That kind of thing. But you can literally like, what you can watch the volume of calls and puts if you like. There's some things you can pay for, some good things. I can't remember which ones. What is this? What is the one called? It's like book something. Maybe. God, I wish my brain was better right now. Chocholata! Thank you so much for joining. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining the stream. Everyone, welcome. I'm probably not saying that right, but chocholata. Why does it make me want an enchilada? I don't know. Maybe I'm a little hungry right now. Because I'm minus 600, so is it better to sell and take profit later? It depends on how much you have in the trade, how much percentage you've lost so far, what does the chart look like? It depends on a lot. Choyada? Oh, duh. I'm literally married to a Spanish person. Bookmap, that's it. I've looked at Bookmap before. It looks like a good system. It just, they give some very good information, I think. I'm pretty sure that's where you can see the flow. Sean's like, Choyata? There's just nothing about stocks. He's like, I'm really interested in getting this name right. Oh, okay. Maybe. Anyone interested in the markets trading should learn about economics. Maybe check out the channel Uneducated Economist. Yeah, learning about economy is very, very good. Honestly, you want to learn about the problems that we've faced a lot in the economy. You want to learn a lot about just basic economics. Just basic supply and demand will really help you. There you go. You got some people saying Bookmap is good. So you guys continue to use it. That's good. I think I tried it for a little bit, but I just didn't see it adding too much value because I'm not necessarily zero DTE or trying to day play stuff. Deflation, they need this inflation. All right, let's get off IWM. I just wanted to show that and show this. The 30-minute is getting that strong bar up for IWM. Very, very interesting. Look at the SPY starting to creep up into positive territory here. Make sure we're crossing up, and that could be brief. Maybe we go all the way up to the monthly. Microsoft actually turning positive. So remember, this is one I really think is an okay opportunity. I probably will be very quick with this. If this makes any kind of upward move, I'm going to see if I want to... let me look at the price of it, too. And Nvidia actually breaking down lower, still wicking out. Not the most expensive. Huh. All right, so if this goes positive here, I might take a chance on it. Obviously, no clicky clicks. Not buying it yet. Waiting for confirmation in this environment for sure. Sometimes I feel confident front-running stuff, but having that stop close, I did that last time on Microsoft. Didn't work out very well for me, right? So I'm going to see if it actually confirms the upward move. Let's look at volatility. Maybe that'll give us a hint as well. Remember that the 15-minute is rolling into negative territory. Is the 30-minute able to cross over? This is going to be a big deal right here. This is going to be a very big deal, I think. That would confirm more calls a month out. HYG still holding. TLT, are you reversing or are you going lower? It's reversing. Okay, so that's a good sign. 10-year, what I want to pay attention to, 2-hour. If that can curl over and go negative here, we could go bullish, man. This is such a weird environment. Dollar dropping off dramatically. Look at that. So even though some stuff going through a struggle, people are buying this thing, right? They're getting out of the dollar, getting into stocks. Very, very crazy day. All right, Microsoft, what are you trying to tell me, man? Maybe I need to look at a different one. Maybe there's a different opportunity that I'm not paying attention to. You know what I mean? When you get focused on a stock and you're just like, maybe there's a different opportunity. Like Apple, maybe. It didn't look the strongest, but that is a strong bar there. Maybe it was trying to catch up to a 5-day. It was trying to catch up to a 5-day. Problem solved. There's your test of 5-day. Now you can see the next move higher. 30-minute confirming that move higher really there. I would say I want an hourly confirmation, but that's going to be too high up to really take a play on. Tesla, this thing's just not looking good. Amazon, not confirming the move higher on the hourly. Starting to confirm it on the 30-minute, but it's so tight. This would be literally like a 4-point play. This doesn't look the best. Nvidia still breaking down, guys. My goodness, look at that. 882 now. Now you're in trouble. If you hold at these levels by end of day, you are not happy about that for Nvidia investors. AMD trying to bounce back out of this zone. Meta still a lot of resistance for Meta. And Microsoft still not really confirming that move. Let's see if it confirms. Let's see if Microsoft confirms this. And I'll try it, guys. I'll try it for you guys. I'm not front running this. I want to see some closing above all these moving averages, get into positive territory, and then I'll take a play. Ooh, solid green from Nvidia. Oh god, Nvidia, you are crazy right now. 30-minute bar just like going from, in the first like 2 seconds, going from 883 just all the way up to 886 really, really fast. The 5-minute swings on this have to be ridiculous. Oh, the 5-minute swings on this have to be kind of nuts. Oh my goodness. Or the 1 minute. Look at this 1 minute. All right, you got divergence on the 1 minute. Hey, look at that. The divergence on the 1 minute. It can roll around the 5. No, I have not. I haven't done enough research on the 1 minute. I don't use the 1 minute. I rarely use the 5 minute. It's weird. I feel like this whole past like month, like 30 days, I've been looking at a lot of 5-minute charts because this market's been so nutty. Holy crap, Nvidia, you're psycho. Uh-oh, Microsoft, what are you doing? Not confirming anything, that's for sure. What are you guys looking at? Got a put here holding at a 50-50 risk. Hey, that's perfectly fine. Just make sure to keep those tight stops. You already know, hey, yeah, I decided today I'm going to 50-50 flip this, so highly encourage you to keep a close eye on it. Check the dollar. Yeah, the dollar dropping off. This is what I'm saying. This is the only thing that's giving me a hint that people are getting out of the dollar and into what? That's what I would say. Into what? Well, they might be buying stocks right now. Isn't that pretty crazy? Let's look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin, are you going to give us any kind of hint here? Are you curling up on a 2-hour? 2-hour pretty much like my 30-minute for Bitcoin. No strength there. Doge, right? The small caps. No, this is just not. That's true. Futures might clean it up a little bit. Oh, God, yeah. Okay. It's weird that the SPY's going to head higher with this stuff. It's weird that the SPY's going to head higher with a 2-hour sell signal on Nvidia. That's just weird. This looks like it wants to cross. This thing needs to bounce soon, man. Is it confirming? Can I take a play on it? The thing is, I still believe we're in a squeezing environment. That's why I'm so like adamant about placing a buy somewhere. I have meta puts. I think that's a fine play. It's a scam. Yeah, it is. It really seems scammy. It seems very scummy today. That's the way to put it. Scummy. You looking at gold? Yeah, we can look at a gold. Gold getting a solid move up here. Going up into a point where we could see some resistance. So this is really, remember silver looked a lot like this. That's what we mentioned when we talked about gold. Silver doing something like this up in this area, trying to get a little head and shoulders going. right? Delete. And head and shoulders going. But silver actually made that full reaction up into here and then doodled around, then just gapped above it, went higher. So gold, that's getting the later reaction. Perfectly fine. Hey, look at this. Positive territories there. A little gap up, but nothing too crazy. We'll have to see something here. 2 hours, right? This looked like it was going to curl over. Now it's rejecting and maybe going positive. So if we retake 217, especially if we do that this week, man, that is going to be kind of crazy. Now, why would gold go up rapidly? Inflation data, hedge for inflation, geopolitical news maybe. Oil seeing a good move up, giving it away right now. Trying to give it away. Give it away now. Dollar down, yeah, dollar's down. That's what I'm saying. People are getting into this move. I'm trying to keep an eye on something I want to get into. What's been beaten up? See, the thing is, these were too beaten up. Tesla doesn't look very good. Apple looks fishy to me. It might be just a time to be like, it's not a good time to take a trade. It literally might be one of those times where you're like, it's not a good time to take a trade. I got a 2 hour on SMCI. Like, yeah, it's like AI stuff I don't even want to look at almost. Mara has divergence to the upside here. Wonder if we get a 30-minute right here. It's pretty much like any upward move has some argument for a reversal in trend. PLTR, that's true. We could look at Palantir. Did that hit 2029 yet? No, I'm not touching this just yet. Yeah, I'm not touching this. I saw, you know, when you're up late, you just click around on YouTube a bunch, and I was like looking at, you know, stock YouTubers. I saw one guy was like, "Oh, Palantir's gonna 500x your money or something," and I was like, "How do you have 600,000 subs and you just like blatantly tell people it's gonna 500x and then you pump it and then you sell it because Palantir's probably paying you in some way, or you have a bunch of Palantir stock? Like, how do you do that? It's so crazy to me. It's like, oh, trust me, Palantir's going to 500. Oh shit." Yeah, Bollinger Bands on 30 minutes I don't really trust too much, though. I see it. I see what you're saying. I mean, I have different Bollinger Bands for my trade. Ooh, yeah, trying to bounce. But let's go look at the SPY. It is, but you're going through a time. Okay, so 30 minute, if you look at the Bollinger Bands on a 30 minute, this is a time of contraction, right? We pulled down. Now we're getting that move up. I want to be clear, we're heading towards that daily expected move. Okay, so if you guys want to know the Bollinger Bands, the reason that you're like, oh, we're coming way out of the Bollinger Bands, well, yeah, but those Bollinger Bands were like this, and then they're getting tight again like this, and now you're starting to spread that out. So it's not. That's kind of how you start to spread them out, and this would be a chosen direction. You broke the high, so the reason I'm gonna bring this up is the daily expected move is up in this area. If we keep seeing strength here, you can see a crazy move and get all the way up to 522.69. But I'm still leading towards maybe like a just 520 on the dot. I think right at our daily expected move is where I'm going to be very, very worried. Oh, Microsoft. Okay, should we take something on this? I'm going to take Microsoft for a short period of time here. Very, very short period of time, by the way. Because that's a strong move. That can start to bust through this high. I have my stop in. I have my Stop. I'm my own personal stop for this one as well. I like to control my own stops sometimes, so I am my stop right now. If I see a breakdown below this level, I'm going to wait for the confirming bar below this level before getting out. But once I see that confirmation, I could be out. I might lose like 30%. I'm not going to do a ton. SPY is freaking moving right now. So does that mean... Okay, hold on. All right. I was wondering what's pushing the SPY so much higher. All right, financials. Financials and energy seeing a solid bounce there. AMD, you do not want to cross down, my friend. Hey, the SPY crossed up. There's one big problem with the SPY right now, man. This is the environment we're in. The SPY crossed up. You see the green bar. The SPY crossed up. There's a big problem here, though. We're already overbought. So this might not last very long. We're going to make some kind of significant divergence. Well, hell. All right, what do I need from Microsoft? I really only need like a 3-point move from right here. We can go test this high at 414, around 414.64. I'm good on Microsoft. I'll just be quick with it. Hughes, how are you doing? Hughes, maybe the move's coming late, but Hughes might get a positive reaction here. You have more room for the Qs, by the way, to that weekly expected move still. Notice the SPY getting very, very close to it. So this is where I'm saying, like, the SPY could do this, and then the Qs only do, like, this. Let me pull this down. The Qs only do this. That'd be kind of a difference there, but good upward move. Nvidia, what are you doing? It's trying to buy back better. Or build back better. What are you guys thinking? Daily doesn't look overbought, but this is a time where you pay attention. That's the overall thinking here. It just looks a little fishy as of right now. We can go test top Bollinger and things like that. We could really spread this thing out. Remember, I'm still saying we could see something crazy happen. This is where you see the craziness. So if we're going to see something crazy happen, okay. But I would think that would be with like CPI data. I would think that would be with like some kind of big news, maybe FOMC minutes later on, maybe Nvidia earnings later on. But as of right now, that would kind of be happening, what, because of initial jobless claims and buybacks, maybe. Yeah, Darwin. Yeah, so that's when I said I didn't show it, but the 2.0 put to call ratio says people are bearish. So if you continue to go up from here, people go underwater and this thing can really squeeze. Now, we didn't get the full retest of the 5, but I would say we've pretty much caught up at this point. Opposite of SPY, if Nvidia recovers, well, probably goes higher. That's the thing. I wonder if people are getting like overly bearish on Nvidia now. And then we just see some kind of reaction up. No, that's not going to add up to anything. Look for a retest. Stop loss on Microsoft. Pretty much, I'm playing it by ear in this environment, to be totally honest with you. I'm playing it by ear. What I'm kind of doing here is seeing if this 15-minute will roll positive, and anytime that goes negative or if that rejects right here, I'm going to see if we print a bar down in this area that closes below this wick, or maybe just closes below the closing bars, and then I'm just going to say, I'm done. I'm not doing this. This environment sucks. That could be it, Uniworld. You could be right about that. You think everything ends green today, even Nvidia? All right, who thinks that? Who thinks that Nvidia ends the day green? Yes or no? Or sorry, green or red? How does Nvidia close by end of day? Right now, down 1.5%. Red or green for Nvidia? See, green. I think it's fake. Red, green, red, red, green, green. Wow, it's very 50-50. Green heads. Red tails. Heads. Sorry, not flipping it over or anything. Oh shit! It's gonna be green. No, don't read into the heads or tails, guys. But just know this: that's a bullish sign right here. Even though you're gonna go overbought, maybe we squeeze the out of this market right now. Hear that, or this is just going to fade right now. White. Coin says green. Coin says green. Drops by 0.25%. By the way. Deleted this so much. Covering my shorts. Yeah, everyone's like, yeah, covering my shorts and everything. Well, if the SPY heading up like this probably would convince a lot of people to cover. To be like, I'm probably done. Took a call on him. You guys are psychopaths, man. Coin says go up, so therefore I go up. I love it. We are the new apes because we follow a coin for trading. No. Knowledge on the go. Bringing up book maps, yeah. All right, well, I think this is a good time. You guys let me know if anything crazy happens. I'm going to go make another coffee real quick. I'll be back in 2 minutes, all right? Be right back. Not only did I get coffee, but I also have brownies. Hell yeah. Who likes brownies? You traded the options, yeah. I have a brownie. Oh man, look at these things. I don't give a I slept 3 hours last night. Guys, what's looking bullish today? The turning up of the 30-minute on the MACD here. You can see that turning up on the MACD, even though you're buy over overbought conditions. It's a very bullish sign. Now, this also is starting to look bearish, so if we start to roll back down, this is a trap. That wouldn't be pretty. Sad I got out of Amazon a few days ago. I mean, that'd be, what, Tuesday? This isn't much higher, but a good point. Take it out. These really aren't the best looking trade. Like, they're very tight. Unless we see a random, like, huge squeeze. I'd be very worried about Amazon right here, man. Homemade. And you're approaching 520. I hate the fact that I've like taught myself to move the chart and not use the like auto stuff. So now I have to do that because I've done it for so long. I'm eating the small one, guys. I'm sorry if you're new here and I look like a freaking crazy person. Very tired. I slept 3 hours. I'm sorry. This is your first time here. I promise. Normally very attentive. I'm also always thinking like about that guy's weekly expected move. I'm just like, we're outside of his. Oh, it's dank. Baby duties, tittle Spock. Oh yeah. Now, this is like, we made these like 2 days ago. So it's got that little bit of like dryness on the top and bottom, but the center, perfect. So good. Exactly what I needed. Plus, my wife says I don't eat enough, and I don't. I do not eat enough. I'm a terrible eater. So, brownies, calories, all good. Did you just eat a piece of brownie, Alan? Did a little nugget fall down? That's not good, but you can't be eating that. That's bad for you. That's bad for you. You're lucky you're a big guy. Alright, after that, I won't eat the big one. Look at the big one. Look at that big guy. Are you? I hope you guys can't hear me chewing. I'm sorry. Sometimes it's like gross to watch people eat. Oh, big move from the SPY. What the hell? What the hell? What is that? Dead serious, man. If we explode from this level, that would be so freaking crazy. Part of me... Let me go look at this. The thing is, if Amazon or if Microsoft catches a bid, this probably is the best opportunity. Above the center line for the RSI, crosses up positive territory, boom. Big move up. But now you're at a time where the SPY's up towards its weekly, the Q's not. So the Q's have some room. Interesting. Not even close to overbought yet. Probably because of Nvidia. Jesus Christ. If that just confirms, like, you guys will be surprised. You'll see this like as a struggle. If that can confirm and get above this high, I think we just boom towards that weekly expected move. But gotta be careful up here. That resistance can step in any time. Remember when we keep drawing that box, it's pretty much wherever the daily expected move is for the day. And then you just go like this and you say anywhere in here is going to be very, very rough. And that starts right here at 443 pretty much. Dude, what is going on? This is kind of cool. Check the Dow. Let's actually do that. That's a very good. Still going, man. So now you would say this, like the Dow completely taking out all these divergences. This could be a very bullish sign. I highly doubt this is just ripped away unless there's just awful news. This might be the craziest thing I say today, but it keeps going on in my head, and I'm going to share with you guys something that's in my head right now. It in no way has a ton of short time frame thought behind it. All right? In no way has a short time frame thought behind it for right now. If we get a good CPI print next week, this thing could get to like 540. I'm being genuine. I think like if we get a good print next week, we actually could see an explosion for the next like month. I know that's psychotic to think in an environment with the shorter time frames right here, but like this thing could just rocket if we start to get some seen as good news that's actually bad news. I'm dead serious. Like we could probably like maybe this little price action causes some kind of pullback, and then we just see that go boom. You just kind of go like that all the way up. Probably not like that. It'd probably be like bet, then a big move, then do something like this, make a little bit more move like this, maybe hit 550. See a big divergence there, triple divergence across the way, maybe. That's what I've been thinking in my head. I'm hesitant to like share that stuff with you guys because I don't want you to read too much into it. That's just like an idea that seems very possible if some very bullish things start to happen. And I think you're wild and shit gonna all come back. I think it will eventually, but I'm just telling you that there's a buyback season. That's my point, though. It's like if Red Green's kind of saying it, but it's like if they're just going to let the craziness continue, it's probably going to get crazier until something really bad happens. What am I seeing right now? And technically, we are seeing a dollar that's trying to bounce right now, but that's on a 30-minute. Like, where's it touching on the daily? Touching the 5. Now, if this curls up, yeah, that's off the table. That's just wrong. This curls up, but if this curls down, it's on. If this curls down, like look at that. Like look at that. That's got to be bullish for the stock market, right? Consumers are out of money, earnings a disaster, but they are masking most of that just by doing record buybacks. Exactly. Yeah, okay, buybacks. So you were on the buybacks game. What happened to sell in May? I'm not saying I'm not selling May. I'm saying that could happen and I'm open to it. Also, like, you guys, I want you to know this about traders and how we talk on YouTube, or at least how I do things on YouTube. I trade like water. You might hear me say, oh, we're going to all-time highs tomorrow. and then something shows up the next day and I'm going to be like, we're not going to all-time highs tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, that's what trading is. It's being adaptable. It's flipping back and forth. It's putting risk and reward. It's being risk managed. You're not going to be right 100% of the time. So if I expect to be right 100% of the time, I'll actually probably lose my whole portfolio. But sell in May is a thing. It still could happen. That, I mean, if you really want to look at the short time frames right now, it looks likely. But how the Dow is acting right now says something very, very wild could be happening here. Very, very wild for the SPY if this wants to actually catch up, get overbought, and do all those things. We could see a rapid move up. So I'm paying attention. Oh, why am I on a 4-hour? So I'm paying attention. Wants to roll over? Cool. Sell in May, go away. But if it doesn't, then why would I sit here and say sell in May, go away? Again, Nvidia goes to 877. Took ARM earlier and keeps going up to fill the gap from yesterday's earnings. Hey, let's take a look at ARM. ARM was a weird gap down too. Kind of a fight there. Oh, that's a flag. That is a daily flag if I've ever seen one. Now we have to see what happens with this, but looking pretty flaggy on the daily scale here. Maybe you just want to see, like, is there weakness in this move? Okay, we beat down to the center line. Not bad. Now we can make an upward move. I would really be, like, connecting my highs in here or something. I think you got a chance the 30-minute rolls up. That's a strong move. You're still negative at this moment, so if you're expecting it to get above this high, it's not necessarily telling you that just yet. Apple, $110 billion buyback is ridiculous. Where's the growth and the innovation? It's nowhere. That's why I don't have an iPhone anymore, man. No gracias. Nope, no more iPhone for me. Sorry, the same looking phone with a different color, and now there's only one camera. It's like, I don't get it. I don't get it now. Now that I've gotten off the Apple train, which I wanted to get off it for a while, but now that I've experienced getting off it, I'm like, yes, you guys are letting Steve Jobs down, that's for sure. At least with the phone game. 30-year bond auction at 1 p.m. Can you check the Dow oversold? Dow oversold? It's overbought. I mean, we just had the Dow up. It's overbought on the 4-hour. It's overbought on the 30-minute. It's overbought, maybe even on the daily at this point. Nope, not overbought on the daily. You can get a full retest. When the 30-year bond auction comes out, I'll see the market tanking. Do you like Android? I like my Google Pixel. I got a Google Pixel. Got the new Google Pixel. I actually really like it. I've enjoyed it. It's very cool. I like the widget stuff and things like that. The camera on it's pretty dope. It like automatically does a bunch of shit for me. And then my phone, I don't even have to open the TradingView app to look at charts anymore. I just like have my stocks and it just shows me it. If I just look at my phone, I just see like a list of stocks and I can even scroll on it without even opening the app. Sick as fuck. Let me chug some coffee for a second. Let's pay attention that bond auction later on today. Took the Microsoft call. Be careful, man. Even I'm being very, very careful with that. I'm just telling you right now. Now, we did get a retest of the 5 for Microsoft. That's a lot of why I'm kind of bullish on this. 15-minute was able to curl up. I'm telling you right now, though, watch this like a hawk. I like anime. I don't want you out there losing anything. Sure, we're breaking to the upside. We're finally looking like we might curl up on this MACD. This could be very brief, and I don't want to get trapped, so I'm being very quick with it, too. Here comes Nvidia. But I respect it. I like anime. I respect it. It looks like a decent opportunity if we don't get screwed out of a trade. How will we get screwed out of a trade if this 15-minute rolls back over? So I'm paying attention to the 15-minute. If that rolls over at any time, I'm not going to trade anymore to the upside at all until I see other stuff. Take a look at TWLO. You said thank you, so I'll look at it. 15-minute scale. You are still in negative territory trying to go positive. This is where you would want to complete the cup. So if you're bullish, you would say a handle here looks likely. Maybe this just briefly rolls over and rolls back up on a 15-minute, and you can see a good move. But you have to be worried in this because the direction was chosen. The direction was chosen with the earnings. So what do we want to see? Well, a lot of the time we like to see a 15-minute curl up to the center line and cross back down. So if that crosses down, you'd say it might even go test this low, might make a new one. Now it's a pretty good buyback up for a 15-minute chart. So if I wanted to, what I'd really pay attention to here is see if cup and handle forms and completes, 15-minute goes positive. But if that fully rolls negative down in here, maybe the opportunity for a buy is with a divergence or something like that. So let me look at a 30-minute here. Sorry, I'm leaning against my mug. Now, one thing is the 30-minute isn't close to the center line yet. So if that wants to creep up towards that center line, that would be more of a telling signal. As of right now, still potential for a higher low compared to here. See this trade setup, look at this. Look at that 30-minute setup right there. That is great. The divergence there, that's kind of what I would look for in this move right now. I would rather see some kind of form of the momentum dying out because the momentum is chosen downside. Sure, it's shifting back up, but that could just be a retracement and then that's dumped. So be cautious, but if you know more, like I like to say this too, if you know more about the stock than I do, if you know more about the, ooh. Okay, that looks kind of flaggy to me as well. If that daily crosses over, you should never take upside for this. So if you break down from here, you gotta hold up. But if you break down from here, you're probably going a lot lower. Like one of these levels lower, right? 50.31, 45, 41.50. Oof. Those are some. That's a rough one. It's very hard to do. I would highly encourage you to. I know if you like the stock and you're an investor or something like that, I would look at this. Maybe wait for a little bit more price action, get above the 200 or something. Some kind of breakout out of this would at least be better. But if your options, I would definitely be looking at other stuff. That's just my personal opinion. Look at Meta. I literally was about to click it. God dang, that thing is ripping. But remember, this could be short-lived. It could be, right? If we're going to see something crazy happen, this is why you got to keep it tight. But the 15 minutes what I like for this. So if this confirms, that's when I would take the play. It hasn't confirmed. We see the Dow going nuts. I would be very worried if the SPY or the Qs started to do the same. We see stuff's a lot beat up. Just be very cautious doing that. Daily just curled up on it. I like you're a patient man. I love it. Hey, there you go, Mark. Appreciate it. Thanks for the compliment. I appreciate the insight. Hopefully that was at least helpful, Justin. Matthew, what curled up? Oh, Nvidia? Nvidia daily curled up? Daily curled. Already was. Hey, there you go. Look at this. Now this little shit's gonna roll up, go positive, and go to a new high. No, I'm just kidding. But the reason that I'm so pissed off about this bounce, do you guys know why I'm so pissed off that Nvidia's bouncing right now? Someone please name why I'm so freaking mad that Nvidia's bouncing right now. Oh, the daily rolled up? Shit. Be careful, man. I'm pissed. Because this frickin' coin. If Nvidia ends up green by the end of the week, or by the end of the day. Like, I don't get it. Are you magical? What's up with you? George? George? It just flipped by itself. No, I'm just playing. All right, let's go look at. Let me go check meta again for you, Matthew. Sorry, I was just being silly. Yeah, it could be a retest. That's what I'm thinking too. But that did curl up. You don't want to fight that daily momentum. That's for sure. Ooh, that's for sure. You're V-shaping here. Yo, are we about to squeeze into oblivion? What the hell is going on? You got the daily that's rolling up above the center line on the RSI. This is like a swing trader's dream. You get in here and you just watch all of this start to happen, and then you go, okay, I can hold from here. It'd be you guys, you gotta be careful shorting stuff like this. This could just explode. Oh, look at that. We touched the weekly expected move. Some resistance comes in. Okay, cool. It really does seem very trappy if we would get up a little bit higher, but SPY looks trappy. Q's not confirming the move higher. Tesla heading down. Amazon starting to fade this move. If that divergence... Ooh, okay, so... Amazon, what do you look on the daily? I might have to switch around some stuff here. Is this like fake? Is this fake? I don't... But like it's pumping. The dollar's breaking down. This is like one of the first times ever I've been like, what the f is happening? I'm not like mad, by the way. I'm just like talking excitedly. Shoot. This would tell me if Amazon's creating this and confirms this, that would tell me I probably don't want to do this anymore. The Qs look like they want to go higher. Amazon's saying no, unless Amazon just like barely goes higher now. Nvidia catches up. Now this would be where we retest. It makes sense. This is the breakdown. Dorothy. TLT is recovering today. TLT is a good play since the job report came out weaker. Very true, as yields are prone to come down with the jobs report. If TLT is going to see strength with that jobs report, now I mean the yield comes down. The yield comes down. That means tech stocks like that. I think it's an upward move. I still would say upward move looks the most likely right here for the Qs. Everyone's collectively pissed off by Nvidia. Oh god. Anyone? I mean, I want to be like, does anyone know the fundamental side of why this happened? Because I know the technical side. It broke this little line right here. Cap fill, maybe. That wouldn't even get us to the weekly expected move at that point. And the most probable move is we're positive, so we have to talk positively about the Qs. And the RSI is above the center line. MACD is above the center line, just hasn't crossed up and confirmed that momentum. HYG is not convinced. HYG is not convinced. Remember, that difference can set in. But what's the SPY doing? The SPY's making a new high, right? Compared to Tuesday. SPY's making a new high. I'm worried about this now. I think I'm worried about this. I'm not messing around with this, guys. I'm not doing it. This is not. I don't care if I lose out on making like $10,000. I'm not doing it. I can tell my emotions and stuff like that. I'm not doing it. Nope. I will take a little bit of a loss on the day and be done. Keep my puts and stuff in for now. But I'm just not convinced. I mean, Amazon almost looks like a really good play to the downside as far as the 30-minute goes. The 2-hour looks like what? It's not even going to confirm another move higher. And then the daily here looks like, hey, I could confirm some kind of divergence. I'm not convinced in this move now. I just, as far as it goes from my perspective right now, it's if I can't see it clearly, and you can tell by how I've talked today, I can't see it clearly. The stocks aren't showing me clear moves. And maybe I'm thinking about it too complicated. But as of right now, I'm just like, no, SPY's at its weekly expected move. What would I normally do at the weekly expected move? I would not go long. So why am I going long? I'm not doing it. Nope, not doing it. I'm going to be a very good trader. That's where my mindset needs to be. And I think my tired brain was not allowing me to think correctly. And right now I'm just like, this is dumb. What am I doing? This is stupid. We're at a weekly expected move. Why am I trying to take upside? Because there might be a squeeze. I don't like might be's. I'm out. And you know what I'm going to do? Just because I'm pissed off at Nvidia, I'm going to short it. No, I'm just kidding. But Amazon, I'm really thinking about. Amazon, I'm genuinely thinking about if this confirms to take some downside here. Now, it is still going up. I'm not going to like just take something because of that. But I'm not going to take upside here. I don't care. I'll sit on my hands for the rest of the day. I don't care. I'm out of my upside. I'll keep my shorts. I'll keep my hedge, my volatility play, but that's it. I do not care. So what is the individual stock telling me? Amazon, the individual stock is telling me like, hey, my momentum is really dying out at this level. I can go higher. I can go all the way up to 192. So am I going to take a play on that? Most likely not. Get out of this shit. This is not worth my time. Time. All right, let's see. Meta's outside of its weekly expected move, going to the upside. I'm not going to fight against this daily. Too heavy. All right, I'm not going to fight against it. That's a very bullish move. It can scream higher. But as we're seeing Nvidia fail while the market's going higher, I'm not convinced. And we have the SPY at its weekly expected move while the Qs aren't confirming that at this moment. So I'm not convinced that this has to go higher. So I'm not going to take a play, right? I'm not convinced that it's clear enough for me to take that play, even with the retest of the 5. I'm perfectly fine just chilling. Chilling until it's clear. I just wanted to let you know I am out of the Microsoft play. I'm not doing this. Nope. I refuse to be trapped by anything. Even if this skyrockets up to 420, I don't care. It could skyrocket up to 420 the next day. I know that I'm a good trader and the SPY is at its weekly expected move. Amazon looks like an okay short at this position, but I'm waiting for confirmations because you do have potential for squeezes here. Does anyone use fundamentals anymore? Companies don't need to make money to have high valuations, and the Fed prints free cash. Fundamentals shouldn't work in that environment. That's very, very true. Fundamentals don't work. Think of it this way. If inflation's so bad, the economy's really, the average person, not your top 10% of the economy people. Anything below that top 10% is struggling. Anything below the top 80% is probably like, holy crap, life kind of is rough right now with the inflation. Slow money's the best money, family adventures, and I forgot that for a second. I got a little caught up in the moment probably because I didn't sleep very well last night. Risk reward, but overall, I'm pretty sure you're wrong, and that's very true. I could be wrong, but I can do this for the rest of the day and be perfectly content. I had to cut a Tesla trade. That's fine and bad. Is it really that bad? Some people are saying it's not that bad. What? The inflation? If the some people that are saying it's not that bad probably have a lot of stocks, I will tell you that. The people who are saying that inflation is not bad, I'm going to tell you this right now. The people who are saying that inflation's not that bad, there's a very good video. Maybe we could watch it. Maybe we could watch that live, but I know you guys want to watch stocks. But the people who are saying that the economy is not that bad, do you know where they bought? Actually, why am I on Microsoft? I'll show you guys exactly where the people who say that the economy is not that bad bought stocks and are holding it. Right here. I have a buddy. He thinks he knows a lot about stocks. He sells calls, or he sells puts or something like that, I think. And he's done that throughout this entire run. Do you know where he happened to buy stocks? Right here. And do you know what he thinks? He thinks that he knows everything. He thinks that he knows everything. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm still convinced, yeah, we might go see this weekly divergence pop up. But what am I seeing right now? A difference between the SPY and the Qs. I'm seeing the SPY hit its weekly expected move. This week, I would say I'm not convinced anymore. That is an overbought reading. If that curls over, this is going to probably dump. So if it doesn't curl over and we squeeze, perfectly fine. Cool. But I can tell you this right now. PCC, calls coming in. So, not convinced. Bitcoin, what is that? Oh, well, not the strongest. And that move can come later. What if we chop around for a little bit until next week? What if this is a left shoulder? What if everything's happening? What if the Qs, this is a left shoulder and we dip way down and then we come back up? Because I haven't seen confirmation of this. I'm not going to take a random thing just being like, oh, it has to go up to oblivion. And look at this. You know, Microsoft, when I sold up 0.45, so just pretty much breaking even on that, not really making anything. But yeah, this I'm not convinced. What's volatility doing today? What's the dollar doing today? Well, the dollar is trying to bottom out actually on the short time frames, right? We want to look at a 2 hour probably, but trying to base out, not able to go negative. That looks very, very bullish. Looks very, very bullish. But TLT not confirming that full move. HYG not fully convinced. Now that could change at 1 o'clock today, but I just know my mental, and my mental says, you know, don't mess with it. Look at AMD, that could just roll over too. Fed's not pivoting. I know they're not pivoting, which means probably more money in the system, which means those yields probably rise up. And what happens when the yields rise up? Actually, as we get more inverted, as we stay inverted, stocks actually go up. The SPY goes up. I'm perfectly fine with that. But I'm just saying, as of right now, I'm not convinced. I might even double down on my volatility play, honestly. Or look at like an Amazon or something like that. That's why I wanted to look at volatility real quick. I'm not gonna do anything most likely. But if this makes that higher low, while the stock market the SPY makes a higher high, that is a sell-off signal. So, hey, I said once the SPY gets up towards that area, I'm going to turn this into a short position. So now I do have a position. It's not the biggest one, right? I think it is. I'll look at the value of it right now. You guys can see literally how small this position is. It is a very small position. I'm not trying to mess around with a bunch of money. It's about $1,000. Literally just $1,000. Other than that, I'm chilling. I just want to show you guys individual stocks are showing you things like this. Individual stocks are showing you things like this, even on a 15-minute divergence of the near price action. So I mean, if this just rolls over here, it's not going to be good. Volatility, you want that to break down to a lower level if the SPY is hitting a new high. What's happening with volatility? Well, it's right by that center line. If this makes a higher low here, volatility can come back in. Why do I want to pay attention to volatility? Well, the 2-hour crossed up with divergence. It's still there, right? The divergence is still here. So that could explode, and I'm not messing with it. I'm like, hey, this is where creating a short position is pretty good. Am I going to short it into oblivion? No. Am I going to make $1,000 play? Yeah. Am I going to try to make $1,000? Yeah. I'm going to try to make about, anywhere from 100% to 200% off this move, maybe, if it can show some kind of weakness. If it doesn't show that weakness, I'm out. So if I don't see this confirm, look at these divergences. Look at this. This is momentum dying. We could squeeze, but am I convinced this has to squeeze now? Not necessarily. Look at this. If this curls over, goes negative, I'm probably going to put in another $1,000 if this curls back down. Not playing with a terribly big amount of money, right? Only doing $1,000 to $2,000. That's what I'm able to do with this type of look, considering the risk is we short squeeze, but the reward is, hey, that's as high as we go for the week. So actually, technically, by the end of the week, we could still end up way down here. Now, do I think that's going to happen? No, that's not how stocks behave. But could we end up at the middle of the range by the end of the week? Could. So I'm not convinced. And the Dow just screaming and screaming higher. It's just a funky, funky time. IWM kind of confirming it, but not beating the high. SPY's beating the high. So if this starts to roll over, I'm being safe. Being safe is much better. Not losing money is better. Danny and Ari are gone. I'll definitely give it a watch, Esker. Thank you for pointing that out. I really appreciate it. I mean, if you really want to talk about it, does the Fed even print money, Esker? Or is it Yellen? Family Adventures, I see the $20 donation. I'm going to let that pop up here in a minute or so. But to anyone in the community struggling with support or resistance trading, I highly recommend using pivot points on your charts. They've improved my trading. Remember, only trade when the setup is on. And I think that's kind of what was going on here. So thank you so much, Family Adventures. You guys know it's always awesome when you're given hard-earned money to give back to the community. I promise you guys I will put that money towards a new mouse so that when I scroll, it doesn't fudge up the whole time and bounce around like this. Like, what the frick? I'm just trying to scroll down. I'm just trying to scroll down. God damn it. Slowly, 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 slowly. Appreciate it. All right, let me go check on this real quick. That's going to pop up in a second. Thank you so much, Family Adventures. Really appreciate it. Can we please give some round of applause? Say thank you so much for Family Adventures. Just sharing something that's helpful to him. And anytime something is helpful to you, it can be helpful to other people. It's perfectly fine to mention things that you see as good. Other people can look at it. They can backtest. They can try it out. And then see if that is a good option for them. I'm just going to take a quick peek. Amazon's still screaming higher. Once again, waiting for that to confirm. I'm not taking anything on Amazon. I'm just saying volatility might be the play. I turned that into a full position at this point. Oh, why am I on gold? I meant to go to the SPY. Now, the cool part about how we do things here and why I like my expected moves even better than that other YouTuber I was looking into to see, because I was looking at a bunch of YouTubers last night for fun, seeing what their opinions were. I even saw the spammy ones that are like 5 stocks to buy now to make 500%. I was just like, I like to click into those to just read into it, and I'm just like, okay, are you getting paid? How much of this stock do you own? It's a penny stock. All right, cool. Thank you so much for that, Family Adventures. Really appreciate it. It's cool where we hesitate for now, though. We hesitate up towards this move. Now we'll see if it holds as resistance. Remember that daily expected move just above us, so this area here is still likely to get tested. That 520 is still likely to get tested, honestly. And just make sure this position's okay. All right, let's get back to the chat. What are you guys up to? All right, let me look through. PLTR to 1,000, exactly. That's what I'm like. Okay, PLTR is down towards 2029. Going down towards 2029, a much better level to pay attention to than saying it's going to go to 1,000. No, I will, JS. Watch, I'll look up on Amazon right now. I still like the Razer brand. But I don't like ones that have all these buttons. Hey, I could get the same mouse. Wow, this mouse is only $30 now? Huh? Like a $50 mouse when I bought it 2 years ago. Try to think, if I was going to go with a wireless mouse, which one would you guys suggest? Ooh, I like the white mouse. That'd be a change up. Except that could get dirty. I like black. The Viper V3 Pro 160. Oh, this is the same mouse but wireless? I have to grab that. I have pretty much the same mouse but wireless, a few extra little buttons. I'm gonna look up what mouse I have and then all right, let's go look over at Meta. This one here did cross above this area, looking like a bunch of things going on right here. Now, this one here, I'm going to go over and look at my weekly expected moves real quick, just to tell you guys about Meta for a second. Keep this informative. Meta is above its weekly expected move. It's above its monthly expected move. That is a very big thing to pay attention to. All right, let's see what you guys are chatting about. I am Siamese, if you please. I bought Meta at 430 long term. Feeling pretty good. Yeah, you should be feeling pretty good about that. It looks very nice. Looks like a pullback might be coming, but looks very nice. Looks like a more dramatic pullback might come with this type of behavior, maybe double topping. But that's perfectly fine. If you're holding it as an investor, I totally respect that. G Pro Super Light for Valorant and trading. G Pro Super Light. Ooh. Logitech. Okay. I have a Logitech keyboard. I really like my Logitech keyboard. Too loud, but it does the clicky. Look at this guy. Amazon will hit 191 any second. It hits 191. Look at that. Look where that thing's at. Dang, Amazon might go creep up towards the weekly expected move. Now, it is getting rid of a lot of divergences with this move on the 30-minute. So I just want to point that out, and the 15-minute. So this is that squeeze that can happen. That's why I'm not trying to be like overexposed or anything like that. So my $1,000 play is perfectly fine, I think. If AMD starts to participate, by the way, so you see Amazon making this upward move. Microsoft starting to make that upward move. Okay, I'm still being a good trader at this point. But what would we say from these moves? If these start to participate, we could squeeze higher on the SPY. SPY not necessarily going higher. And the Qs as well can start to go up towards that weekly expected move. 30-minute, what I'm paying attention to. Okay, curling up. There's that green impression, so. And like I said, I'm perfectly fine with being wrong. I'm perfectly fine with $1,000 to be wrong. Yeah, HYG is not confirming this move. TLT is not confirming this move. It looks like it could turn up, but it's not confirming the move. 10-year trying to base out. Did get above that 4.495. Remember, that's a very important level. If anything, you'd say maybe even a little head and shoulders on a 30-minute. Now, 30-minute for the 10-year, take that with a little grain of salt there. The dollar, once again, 30-minute, take it with a grain of salt. But volatility, we'll see if this wants to break down further. Perfectly fine with me. I'm going to pretty much say $1,000 says something crazy is going to happen to the downside instead of the upside, which is what everyone, I think a lot of people are expecting more squeezing. And if I lose $1,000, I'll lose $1,000. Perfectly fine with me. Might not be fine for you though. Keep those more squeezing. Yeah, squeezing would be bullish. Let's lose it together. What's your thoughts on PHM double top or cup and handle formation? It could be either one, but let me go look at how it is setting up for you. I would not say cup and handle. You could maybe say breakout. If it's going to do cup and handle, it's going to, I mean, yeah, if you're doing short time frames, pay attention to the cup and handle where it's at, right? Gap fill right here. Okay, come into the liquidity zone, create that handle, head a little bit higher. Where I would start to get bullish and say there's an upward move is if you break through this level, right? We come up, we do this. This would look good for some structure. See the breakout, see that curl up on some moving average or some time frames on the MACD. That's where I would probably be more bullish. Let's do this. Let's look at some daily charts, okay? Daily charts, and then we'll do a full breakdown As of right now, the dollar does look like the bullishness will continue. I want to point that out. So this is a very good move, right? Very good move down. That's the bullishness. Now we pop back up. Okay, they're selling in this move somewhat, but that bullishness can continue. And this is testing a key level to then break down from. So I'm not saying like, oh, this can't go up, this can't squeeze, this can't do whatever. I'm just saying this is fishy to me, and I'm going to stay out of it and just turn my volatility play into from a hedge, which was like maybe half the size. It was literally like $500 as a just in case for my upside stuff. In case something crazy happened, now I'm going to turn it into a full position at around the $1,000. If I want to scale into it to make it a like better position, I'll do 2,000. But that's if the signals show up. If there's any time where it really looks like, hey, we're just going to squeeze, then I'll be out of the play, maybe losing 50% of that or something. VIX is spiking. I don't think the VIX is spiking at all. The crash signal would be this turns back up. Now something you can zoom in on is the rejection of the 50 and the 200 crossing, right? That never was able to cross fully. That's rejecting now, but if we sit around this area, it means something bad could be around the corner. Now, if that bullishness is going to fully settle in, well, then this is just going to react down to 1212, okay? So pay attention to that, but let's just do a full breakdown, and then I'll hop off and see if I see anything and make sure to put that on Patreon if I'm seeing it. The reason I'm hesitant here is just because the SPY is making that upward move. It's already at its weekly range, and I know it's Thursday, and something crazier stuff happens usually like Thursday, Friday, but right now, what am I seeing? Well, if we saw any kind of selling come in, because this is what's expected, right? So why are these important? Because this is what is expected. So if people see this type of move happen, this is where they would take profit as of right now for the whole week. Okay, so for the whole week, they could take profit in this area. And because you've had some chop, that might be a good area to take a play, right? Because this could be some kind of resistance coming in. Not saying to take a play, though. I'm really thinking this could squeeze higher. I don't think this is a good environment to try anything if you're not good at it. If you're not willing to lose $1,000 or $2,000, then I would not be taking anything. But since I am, I'm going to play it, and I'm going to say this market will not trap me. I see that the SPY's heading higher. And then the reason that we're paying attention to that is because the Qs are not confirming that move higher just yet. Now, the Dow is heading higher. I can read into that. I can look into that. But what if we have more work to be done here for the Qs? And the reason that that could be scary is just because we have things like Apple that has just trickled up. It's not really seeing that strength. We're seeing that hourly try to turn up. But guess what? There's not much room left. You have a sell zone right above you. So I'm not convinced this will be a great, like prolonged move over time until more price action happens. So pretty much I'm saying, hey, I'm going with a volatility play just in case, do a full position just in case. And then from there, I'm going to say, okay, but for my real trades that I'm really going to focus on, I need to see better stuff. I can't do anything with this week, honestly. Tesla about to go down and touch that weekly expected move on the bottom side again. On the bottom side again. So if this wanted to base out, this is the divergence you would see. So the opportunity might be something like Tesla, if that's able to go test that weekly expected move downside again, and then you see that bounce. Well, you have a 15-minute divergence. So opportunity for bullishness is still here. Opportunity for the bullishness is still here for things like Tesla, but is that really there for things like Amazon? I would say that this thing, yeah, it's screaming higher, but anytime that could just start to fade. And we can see some wicks come in, so we'll have to pay attention. Remember, the SPY's hitting that upward range. And the Qs did not confirm that move higher. TLT didn't confirm that move higher. HYG didn't confirm that move higher. And guess what else didn't? Nvidia. And what's Nvidia doing? It's getting a retest. This is why I don't change my drawings very much. I see if anything adds up, but you notice I'm keeping this line. Why? We break through that area. We're going to retest it, see if we can take it back. If we can't, we're probably heading lower in this move for Nvidia. Now, that's because of the retest. If that flips and is able to take that price point back, we can flip the script. We're trading like water. Now, this here doesn't look like the best base on a 15-minute, but if I switch this over and I just say 30-minute, well, that could still curl up and go positive. So I'm not saying the positivity can't come. I'm just interested to see how the SPY is hitting its weekly expected moves while very important stocks like Nvidia are dropping off pretty dramatically, to be honest, breaking through that structure. So am I convinced AMD has to bounce from here? No, I'm not. So I'm not going to trade around it. I might even wait a few days before taking a trade with this type of behavior, right? You're bullish on the dollar. No, the dollar's actually, sorry. When I say the dollar is showing bullish, I should be more clear about that. The dollar is coming down, which is actually a bullish thing for the SPY. So you're seeing the dollar pull down. That's exactly what you want to see. In the video last night, I was saying if the dollar goes up while the SPY is going up, that's something we'll pay attention to. But when I say that the dollar looks bullish, usually I'm talking in context for the SPY or the Qs. I'm like, if the dollar is pulling down, it's a negatively correlated, right? So that means that the SPY is going to go up, and that's what's happening right now. So it's not saying this move isn't real by any means, but you have things like HYG and TLT that are not really confirming that. If that changes by end of day, I'll make sure to notify you guys on Patreon. But Meta, the reason that I'm worried about this one, it's outside of its monthly and it's outside of its weekly and monthly expected moves already. And we're literally 9 days into the month. So this would tell me, even if it wants to head higher, there's most likely, sorry, I'm like spitting. This would tell me there's most likely some kind of construction that needs to happen in this overall move before we actually want to head higher. And that's overall what I'm getting at. And where are we heading to? Well, some points of resistance, some bundle of liquidity. And what could happen here? Well, we might make that cup and handle right here at these resistance levels. We'll have to see going forward. You'd really like to complete that cup a little bit higher up, to be honest. But Meta, this is a worrisome sign because this was not priced in at all for the monthly expected moves. Doesn't mean we can't get outside of it and see something crazy. Now, Microsoft, remember, I just got out of this play because I was like, you know what? I'm going to be a good trader. I'm trading like water. The SPY's hitting a weekly range. Why would I take upside here? And I'm very glad I did. I think I feel better immediately. And I think that's a big portion of trading. And you guys know I didn't get very much sleep. So I think that's adding to my problem right now. And I don't want to trade with my sleep when I'm sleep deprived, pretty much. Now, here's the thing. What if this just rolls down? You're right by negative territory. So this could be given up very quickly on the 15-minute. We could go into a negative trend. And if I wanted to draw anything right now, I would just be drawing a little trend line like this and say if that breaks, we have a good shot that negative trend is going to continue. Google, this thing, not able to fully go positive today and actually still in negative territory on the 15 minutes. So this is in a 15-minute negative trend. In the grand scheme of things, on the hourly, you're still positive, right? It's still positive, but doesn't that look like what? A lower high? Okay. So I'm not convinced this has to go higher. I just want to see, okay, does the cup and handle confirm something? Is the hourly able to turn back up? Is this 30-minute able to turn back up? Then I'll flip my thinking. But until that happens, I have to say, hey, we're going down into negative territory. Netflix, this thing's been screaming up and 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 up. So the resistance will come in eventually. This is actually an area where it'd be good to create that handle. I believe the handle would most likely be a little bit bigger than this, but as of right now, very, very strong move. Hasn't really digested much at all besides the recent pullback. If that's a squeeze, we can keep going. But I would make a weekly range for Netflix. If this continues into next week, I'll put a Netflix weekly range on Patreon. Now, the other things we have to pay attention to. So this is where I'll try to be more clear with the dollar. When I say the dollar is bullish, usually I'm talking in context with the market, like SPY or Qs. So this upward move in the SPY makes sense because the dollar came down. That is a bullish sign for the market. I will be very clear about that in the future, especially in my YouTube videos, because I'm sure I've done that before. What's happening as of now? The dollar is going down and testing that 5-day moving average. See if that can get back above this 105.65. What could happen? We could curl up on this MACD and see something dramatic happen. We'll have to pay attention, but note that the dollar is coming down. That could be rejection from an area. So that's where I'm saying it's not necessarily clear, and I probably will wait for some price action before I actually take a trade. That's the most likely best thing to do in this scenario. Volatility. Now you're getting a little bit of a bounce. Now, the reason that I'm paying attention to volatility, why I took a play on this, is because the SPY is heading to higher levels. Volatility is not heading to lower levels. and we're right at 13. Remember when we talked about, you know, where volatility could come in? It's at 13. So we're at 13. What could happen? Volatility could come back in. And I want to pay attention because right now, what am I seeing? I'm seeing a MACD on the 30-minute that's very close to going positive. What if this starts to reverse and we start to do this the other way? That's what I'm really paying attention to for volatility. We'll keep you notified about anything if volatility starts to show anything here. But another thing convinced me, hey, this move might not be that real is, well, the SPY's up like this. HYG's down. We're getting that difference between HYG and the SPY right now. And I would be very, very cautious with that. Yes, we can short squeeze. This can continue for quite some time. We could see a difference from HYG to the SPY for a while. But as the Qs are not confirming that next move higher, I'm not necessarily fully convinced. I'm not confident enough to really take a play to the upside here. And opportunity cost, I might lose out on some opportunity cost, right? The opportunity cost of me selling my calls in a squeezing environment could mean I don't make money off the squeeze. And maybe I lose $1,000, but I've made well more than $1,000 over the last 2 weeks and in this move, I've made overall more than $1,000. So I'm not worried at all about losing $1,000 trying to say, hey, this looks very, very fucking fishy. This looks very fishy. And I will sit here and I will be patient and I will see this curl down again and then curl back up and I will keep doing how I do things here. Thanks for all your hard work with the charts, but definitely get some much needed sleep, man, when you can. Very important. It's very true, Brian, and I think that's what I'm going through here. And so, but at least my consistency is there. At least my consistency is there. We hit a weekly expected move. What do I say? I say, why am I taking call side? This is as high as we're expected to go. It's Thursday. It's not Friday. If it was Friday, I might say, okay, maybe this makes the crazy move. But if I'm being a diligent trader who is trading like water, which is what we do on this channel, then I'm not taking any upside for the SPY or any stock that's in the SPY when it hits that weekly expected move, because selling is the most likely scenario once we get up in this area. So remember, I kept boxing out this area up here, right? This area up here. Technically, what I should do is include that weekly expected move, okay? I should do something like this and say, this is where I want to take profit. This is where I want to take major profit, and this is where we can see some kind of reversal. So if we just curl down on this 30-minute, what could happen? The 2-hour can actually curl over. I want you guys to be very clear. Look at this 2-hour. It looks like it wants to curl down, right? Now, if this is just going to be a pullback, perfectly fine with that. I would love to see something like this. Boom, enter here. We go for the next big run. I'd love to see something like that. I'm not going to get overly bullish. I'm not going to get overly bearish. I'm going to be a good trader. Chris Wong, thank you so much for joining. Everyone, welcome Chris Wong into the boat, right? Welcome. We're what? What are we? Money makers. I don't know, something. We'll come up with a clever name. I agree with your call. It's likely a sucker rally to bail out. I ain't going to bail out anyone out. And just know that this is like when banks fail. This is like when banks fail in 2008, if you want to think of it that way. Okay, let's see. Well, we know that the market makers were not expecting what? They weren't expecting this. Okay, they were expecting this, but then a bounce up. They weren't expecting any of this. So what do they want to do? Well, if they're still holding stuff up here, they want to say, oh, who's going to bail them out? Just like banks in 2008, who bails you out? The taxpayer, the average person, the retail trader. So therefore, I'm going to do the same attitude. I don't believe it. And if I'm wrong, that's perfectly fine. I'm willing to lose $1,000 to say, screw you to this environment and just say, I'll wait for the next trade to actually place a big $5,000 play. Just call yourself 3M. Yeah, I'm sure no copyright lawyers will hit on me. On the 1 and 5 minute, a number of indicators are confirming your SPY put play, which I also joined in on. Okay, Darwin, well, let's see how it works out. Make sure we're still managing that risk. If we doodle around or something like that for the next couple of days, remember, we'll get new weekly ranges, okay? We'll get new weekly ranges, and maybe that's up towards that monthly expected move. So if we don't experience some kind of drop-off, if we just move sideways, that weekly expected move topside could be up in this area. And that's where I'll be paying attention to my signals and saying, okay, if this really digests better I can take an upward play. But right now, what am I seeing? Looks like the 2-hour might want to cross down into negative territory. So I think tonight's video is going to be very, very good after we see some price action here, because we'll be talking about a lot of the things that we're mentioning right now. But I just wanted to say, guys, thank you so much for joining. I apologize that my energy level was a little bit lower today. As you guys know, I do have a baby girl. She just turned 3 months, like a week ago, 3 months old. And she's going through a growth spurt, and she's going through that time where she realizes, like, oh, there's sounds in the world and I don't like them. Oh, this is rough and I don't like that. And it's a little bit tiring time. Yeah, I'll look at that for you, Laws. So I just want to really say thank you for putting up with me today, pretty much. And I'm sorry if my sleep contributed to any kind of confusion today. The next time that I'm this type of sleepy, I'll try to be very, very clear with that and make sure to take my time with the charts, or not even the stream, honestly, because it's a point where I know people are using their hard-earned money, and I don't want to say something that convinces you one way or the other, especially when I'm sleep deprived, right? I want to give you my best self. 3 months is fun. I both remember it from my 2-year-old and have it come from my 1 week old. Yeah. For this one right here, pay attention, 30-minute divergence there. Now, one thing to look at here is this is a pretty solid cup, okay? You could get a handle to head higher. So what you want to see, is this actually going negative? Because that would tell you, hey, this divergence has something behind it. So if this actually goes negative here, that would be telling. But if that just briefly happens and it curls right back up, that could just be a handle. So what I'd really look at is if this is going to confirm, all right, 30-minute divergence here, then I would look at my 2-hour. If that rolls over, then I could say, okay, this most likely isn't a handle, right? If that's going to be a dramatic rollover, then I'm most likely going to dig a little bit deeper. And then you just want to see, is that going negative? Because if that just rolls up at any time, you're still in a positive environment, right? So I just want to put that. But this here would be something that I would wait for some digestion at this level. Because you see overbought on the 2-hour, overbought on the 30-minute, divergence is there. Someone got bailed out. Tuesday High got bailed out. Yeah, that's true. All right, so thank you guys for joining me today. If you're new here, you want to learn or anything like that, there's the course down in the description. Okay, it's just $199 until 2025, right? So $199 until 2025, and then also with that course, I just wanted to mention that I'm not sleep deprived in it. I made it when I was very, very awake with a lot of coffee, so it's very, very good. But thank you guys so much for watching today. Thank you for liking, subscribing. You guys are fantastic. And Family Adventures, thank you so much for the $20, 20 euros. Really do appreciate that. You guys know I just like to express how thankful I am when someone gives their hard-earned money to the channel. And now I'll go buy myself a mouse so that I'm not scrolling all weird and you guys have to deal with that. You really seem like a great guy. Thank you for your help today. Really good market knowledge. Thank you so much. I'm sorry if it wasn't the best with my sleep levels, but know that I'm trying my best every single day for you guys. I really am. And I love like contributing to this community just like you guys are contributing in the chat. I love to come out, share my skills, share my knowledge, and you guys have stuff for me to learn too. It's not just a one-way street, right? I have I literally do have a notepad up most of the time on my computer, and I'm typing stuff that you guys are bringing up, and I literally look into it because I'm always dedicated to learning, always dedicated to getting better, even as a streamer, even as a trader, all aspects. So thank you guys for joining. I hope you guys have a great, great rest of your day. Good luck out there. Let's trade like water. If we trade like water, we're going to be just fine because we're not going to blow up our portfolio, right? Even if we're wrong, that's perfectly fine. We're trading like water, and therefore, if we're wrong, it's just an opportunity to learn. And an opportunity to learn, it becomes much better to learn when you have some sort of loss, right? It's kind of like sports. When you experience a deep loss in sports or some kind of loss in sports, that's where the real learning begins. So if you lose 200, if you lose 2,000, if you lose 1,000, really just make sure to be learning from every single moment, just like we have been throughout the entire week. Thank you guys so much. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Good luck trading out there, and we'll put you back on the SPY. Hopefully this information about booking holdings was a little bit helpful there. All right, let's see. Is this 2-hour going to roll over? Let's leave you guys on a 30-minute, see if that divergence confirms for you throughout this rest of the morning. Bye, guys. Have a great day. I'll tell my baby girl and baby mama that you say hi. Talk to you later. Peace.